And we are live. Good morning, everybody. Welcome, everybody coming over from pre-market prep. Welcome to live trading with Benzinga. I'm Spencer. There is that guy is Ryan. That guy is Zunaid. Mitch will be here in a moment or two. Guys, good morning. I hope you all were able to stay afloat yesterday and stay green as best you can. It was an interesting afternoon for sure. Market relatively quiet overnight, at least compared to the final couple hours of yesterday's session. So we have that, which is nice. But it's going to be a very interesting day to see how the market digests what happened yesterday. I'm curious, before we run the intro, do either of you have thoughts on the price action from the afternoon into the close, and were you doing anything or what?
Yeah, so I have some really quick thoughts. So first of all, I've been saying for several weeks now that I think that value is going to outperform growth this year. That's absolutely what we've seen so far. So we'll see how long that continues. I'm glad that I seem to have pegged that. As far as did you do anything? No, not yesterday, not when we were actually selling off. My whole thing is I wanted to see. I actually think this is good. Right, some of these high flyer stocks that were super frothy and have a ton of air in them, now that air is starting to come out. Valuations are starting to matter again. To me, this is good. This is going to make trading easier when all the dust settles. The reason that I wasn't buying yesterday is because I don't know when the dust was going to settle. I certainly didn't think it was just going to be today. We'll see if we bounce at all today here. But no, haven't done anything like the price action. I understand it's rough. I totally get it, but just kind of waiting it out. This too shall pass. Things will be better.
Oh, this too shall pass. All right.
I like it.
Well, let's run that intro. Let's get Mitch on here.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Those words have been dancing around my head all night. Oh, it's Vegas law, that phrase.
Gianni.
Fisher.
Joy.
Joe. Cards drawn are the past, ones to come are future.
And the best part, it's beatable.
All right, if you're not awake by now, wake up, people. Come on. We got 15 minutes till the open. Let's go.
Like Enver says, hola.
What's up, Mitch? How are we doing?
Hola. ¿Cómo estás? Let's go ahead. Let's get this
You
money.
didn't sleep last night, right? You're still awake from yesterday? Did I get that right?
No, I did sleep. I slept not well, but I slept a little bit. I was just so excited for today that I was tossing and turning, but I was able to catch a couple hours. Yes.
Are you wearing your sweater inside out?
Yes. I did it for you. I did it for you.
We did it, man.
Can I tell you real fast? I actually had a dream last night and the dream was I had nothing to wear to work. And then I woke up and I thought, okay, this is appropriate.
That is appropriate. It's like the last resort for you then.
Right. Exactly. So anyway, hey, let's get some legs going and let's share some screens. And who wants to start with what they're watching?
I'll go ahead and start. Go ahead, Ryan.
I was going to say, I would just like to start with answering a really quick question here, and then I'm going to turn it over to Zunaid. Okay. Tashi P asks, why is crypto crashing? Crypto is crashing because of what we heard from the Fed. Anything that is speculative is really kind of getting taken, as Spencer likes to say, taken out behind the woodshed. And crypto is no exception. It is absolutely a speculative asset. That is my 2 cents.
One thing that I would tell you guys is keep a close eye on those NFT prices. You start seeing those crash, you could easily see ETH take a hard dip. So that's what I'm going to be putting out there. That's what I'm going to be watching. That's what I think really crashes the crypto market is if the NFTs just tank from one day to the next, you're going to start seeing that ETH just go.
Yep. And I am on record as like not being convinced that that Bitcoin or crypto at large would should we enter a period of time where the stock market goes down for a year or so. I've said I'm not convinced Bitcoin would necessarily go down with it for the entire year, but in the short term, for sure, they're correlated, right? In the short term, and on any given day, any given week, Bitcoin and Ethereum and the rest of crypto is going to move with the rest of growth. And in this case, it is down. So,
yes, sir.
All right,
Yes, sir.
Zunaid.
With that being mentioned, so that we can just get into it, do you just want to do the crypto update?
Oh, we can do it. We can do a real fast crypto update.
I can get it out the way, right? I mean, we're already talking about it.
We can rip it. Not really sure what there is to say about that. I mean, it's red. It is very, 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 very red.
Yeah.
So,
that one's a tough chart to look at.
Anyway, there you go, everyone.
They call that a heat map, but I don't see much heat on there.
I guess what's notable is that
I see a lot of heat on there.
Yeah, I was gonna say I see a lot of heat.
It's
that to me ain't hot.
I don't know. So hey, if you're an average downer, then today's a day for you. If you're not, then today is not a day for you. But this is what crypto does. So there you go. If you want some free Bitcoin, go to the Voyager app, download it, fund your account with $100, make one trade, any trade, doesn't matter. You could buy Shiba dollars, which is that new stupid Shiba Inu ripoff. If you want, they don't care, and then they'll send you $50 in Bitcoin for free. Check it out. Now, let's choose.
Just really quick, some stats to go with that map that you just. I'm looking at Coinbase here, and when you click on the different assets in Coinbase, it gives you a little. In fact, let me see if I can actually bring this up. No, the activity here. Let me see if I can bring this over here. Yeah, right here. So here's Bitcoin, right? Activity on Bitcoin, 80% to the buy side. So on this sell-off, Coinbase investors are buying into Bitcoin heavy with an 80% ratio. You can see here, here's the definition of that. This is Coinbase customers who increased or decreased their positions in Bitcoin over the past 24 hours. And given that you had mentioned crash in here earlier, as one of the chatters mentioned that as well. I think I saw a chatter in here, Donkey Limit, saying ZZZ, hardly crashing, volatility is nothing. That's actually a really good point, because keep in mind, the 1 year performance for Bitcoin, we're still up 17%, and that's with the blood that we're seeing today. So just let's keep it in context, huh?
Hey, Ryan, all I would say is the last time I saw Bitcoin go from 20,000, all the way back down to 4,000. So it doesn't mean that it can't happen again.
That's right. And then where did it go after that? 64,000?
That's what it's all about, right? Opportunities exactly right. both ways, that's short exactly side right. and long side. That's what the market is really all about. Let's get into some stocks. Looks like Spencer has some news up there for us. What? Do you want to news us?
That's Ryan.
That's Ryan. That's Ryan. I thought it was.
Wait, because you need a volunteer to go. So let's bring Zunaid.
Yeah. We've also got a super chat and someone asking about STLA. So I wanted to quickly take a look at it. Okay. Let's kind of go to the daily. This is all over the place. I'm not going to lie to you, Matt. Not the best type of chart for me to be looking at. So I'll ask the guys to get their insights on this, but you've got the highs over at 22. If you come back and take a look at yesterday's support levels, I think it was like $20.40, I believe it was. Where is it? Yeah, there it is. 2 days ago, excuse me. Right over there is where it bounced off. I would go ahead and wait and see if you can get a pullback to maybe test the previous close around $20.40 or so and then go. But ultimately, $20 would be my personal risk, just simply because of the way that I trade. And then you can also take a look at it at all-time highs if you wanted to. But to me, it's not the cleanest chart. We'll get the guys here in a second to kind of give their insight after I give my other picks. But that's what I've got on STLA. Let's go ahead and take a look. I'll just give a couple because I know we've got only 8 minutes to the market. Looking at NVIDIA, I did go ahead at the close, buy some calls on this one. I bought the 277.50 calls, and I sold the 285 calls, and then I bought the 290 as a YOLO. So I'm in NVIDIA. I'll kind of let you guys know about that after things get going. But over 280 is where I want to be on NVIDIA. I'm also going to be taking a look at DDOG, which got some news about how they're working with Amazon Web Services. So this one, I've already set an alert. I want to be long over 150 if it bases itself. Today, I'm going to go ahead and kind of take a step back, try to let the market tell me what's up, and then get into it instead of trying to be cheeky with it, because it hasn't worked out for me the last 2 days. And I think I had one more, but for now, that's all I've got. Oh, Affirm, over $80. I want to try to be cute with this one. That's all. Someone else take it away from me.
I would just say that like the one active swing I have is Zillow, and I've got my finger on the sell button today. I will be watching this like a hawk. We're not quite at the level I'd be. We're not quite at my line in the sand yet, but we're getting awfully close to it. And
What's
so
your line in the sand?
well, if you here, let me pull up a chart.
I've got it up. I've got it up on the daily. Whatever you want, you got it.
Yeah,
you can take over.
Yeah, but I'm blind and I need like a bigger screen. So here.
Take over.
And real quick, Spence, is this close to open or sell to close? Sell to open or sell to close?
Sell to close. Sorry.
Gotcha.
So here, we got a series of lows. Like the low from yesterday was 57.54, and the low from December was 57.60. So this morning we're at 58. Right. So I've got less than $1 of breathing room here. But if yesterday is any guide, we will get there in the morning, and at that point, I will sell to close. But so that's likely going to happen today. But again, no harm in taking a flyer on anything if you have some sort of risk control, and I've got to stop in mind here in the $57 area. So that's where I will cut this loser if it gets there. If it never gets there, then great for me. But if it does get there, that's my out. That's one thing I'm watching very closely today.
All right, I'll go ahead and I'll start jumping in here. Now, one thing to keep in mind right now, one thing that I want to start doing for us guys is doing a little extra here. So what I want to do is what you see on the right-hand side here, this is our watch list for today. I'm also taking stocks that you guys mentioned out there in the chat and adding it to this watch list. Why? Because we're all in this together, right? And so I'm going to make a watch list that includes the ones that you guys mentioned in the chat, also the ones that we mentioned that we're looking out for. So let's say like you see a firm on here, you see NVDA on here, and I'm starting to see some other tickers flowing through there too. So triple BY, we can add on there. We can add Ford. We'll keep that one on watch. SDS, PayPal. And this might get a little bit bigger because it's all of us. But one thing I will do is I will pull from here and look at what does really well and try to point it out for all of us since we're all taking this kind of overall look, right? And so if you guys have something that is on your watch list you guys think could move today, throw it up in the chat. I'll add it to the watch list. Now, today, one thing I will mention is ARKK is going to be on watch, right? I mean, we've been talking about this on this show and Money Mitch consistently. I've gone through this plenty of times where you can see the 43 stocks. There's a couple of them up today. I'll tell you, yesterday there was only 2 in the green once the market opened, and about an hour in, it was all red again. So that's what I'd be watching. I'd be watching how the certain stocks perform to find out to see how ARKK kind of pushes. Now, one thing I'll say is that I'm sure she's like a lot of people out there thinking like this today.
Come on, brain. Think, brain. We're going to die. Last chance to get out of here. Hello, you working?
Yep. She's going to have to work to get on out of this position. There's definitely going to be.
That scared the crap out of me. I just want to say.
Oh my gosh. You never know. We'll see if ARKK can get out of here. But one area that I would say to keep watching is hard assets, right? I mean, you can take a look at financials. You can take a look at like AT&T, these kind of lower PE names. But I don't think these are going to have continued runs. I'm looking for hard assets to have continued runs. We've talked about Cliffs. You had an awesome day yesterday. X had an awesome day yesterday. So today I'm actually going to be looking for some other basic materials, not just steel and kind of looking at that. I'll be looking for more of kind of coal. BTU is one that I'm going to be looking at. Had a pullback before. You can see here we're kind of in the sideways consolidation. If we get through the 1180s, I think we can get through 12 today. Of course, this isn't a big mover, but we could still make a good gain on this one. I don't trade coal often, but I think hard assets is where you're starting to see kind of the money go into. Why? Because I think the persistent inflation and also what was mentioned yesterday by the Fed in the minutes, you also saw talks of really concerns of inflation. I think them even mentioning about them selling the bonds shows even further concern of inflation being persistent. So that's why I'm watching these stocks.
Mr. Faloona?
One last one. I might short Lucid. So you guys, that's my short of the day. I always try to give a trade of the day. I'm looking for a short on Lucid. All right, go ahead, Ryan.
Yep. So as kind of mentioned, I'm just kind of watching the stuff from the movers. I'm actually not in a rush to go out and buy anything until I see that we've kind of gained our footing, and I frankly don't think we're there yet. One of the things that I'm watching this pre-market here is Apple. Apple really starting to take a dip right before we open here. What do we got? 2 minutes till we open, minute and a half.
Yeah.
Here till we open. So I want to watch tech. I want to see if it gets any footing. I want to see if it continues to get sold into. And I'm also curious about Bitcoin. While I don't buy the Bitcoin stocks ever, I want to see if those actually continue to get sold into too. Again, my whole thing, not being a short bias trader, I'm always looking for the long position. So I'm going to be looking for those value names, infrastructure names, materials, things like that, where you're going to kind of be a safe haven to hang out while we bottom out here with tech, which is what I normally trade. So
I just want to add another stock that is remarkable this morning, and that's Bed Bath. This is remarkable. This earnings report was pretty bad, and it was down. It was down, rightfully so, and it is ripped hard in your face if you're short this stock or bearish Bed Bath this morning. So I can't justify that. I don't know why. It doesn't matter why. It doesn't matter if I understand it or not. But we're above 15 now. We're basically back to where we were on Monday in Bed Bath on bad fundamental news. So this is a rip your face off rally in the last hour or so. We'll be very curious to watch this. I don't know if we can find any near term resistance at any level on the upside. Nothing really jumps out to me there. But anyway, this is an interesting one to watch here. We got 10 seconds till the open.
Here we go.
Let's do this, guys. I'm going to be looking for shorts out the gates, and then I'll be looking to see if we get some upside momentum for longs. Definitely more of a short day for me today than long side. We'll see what happens here.
All right.
My phone is on vibrate. We should be good.
Oh, we would have been good anyways. That's quite all right.
Let's see what we get.
Going to look for a green to red move, pushing close towards the 37 on Lucid, and then a quick flush down. We'll see if we get that.
Okay, I'm looking for things moving off the open here. What? Any themes jumping out?
Watching that VIX. The VIX right at 20 and holding there. So flip over to the scanner here.
Yep, I'm with you right there. I see rig. Well, oil is having a good morning, so oil is higher across the board.
There you go.
Somebody in chat mentioned that.
Green going to red on Lucid. Now we're going to look for a pop back. We need to let it crack through VWAP. So it's going to crack down here 36. 36 is where I'm looking for it to go, and then bounce back here towards around 36.40s. Then we'll look for that flush takedown here. There's the flush towards 36.13. I'm looking for the flush to 36, and then a retrace to VWAP. Could already been short on this, but I don't like to get that really early entry. I'm looking for a little bit of a dip first and then get the bounce back short into the strength.
Oh, that's an interesting move to the upside off the open. Ava's budget just popped.
Okay, nice to know. I want to state that energy, financials, and communication services are the sectors that are up from the open. You got industrials also, but from there, everything else is in the red from the open.
The European banks, which were having a strong morning, are just kind of holding steady here. I'm looking at Deutsche Bank. I'm looking at BCS, HSBC, and I always forget. Let's forget the other one. Whatever. Deutsche Bank and Barclays.
One of the things I'm watching here is the IWM, right? That's something that I'm watching every day along with the VIX and the broader market. For me, the line in the sand here, 216.82 on the IWM. I think as long as we stay above that, we're probably going to be okay. About 2 points above that right now, so no worry yet. But obviously, IWM took a beating yesterday. As we continue to go into a rising rate environment, obviously lightening up on big cap tech, but to be honest with you, the small caps that I'm in don't seem to be a great place to hide yet. So would love to see the IWM kind of perform well, hold in today, and then maybe make a move to the upside. Apple recovered its gains, by the way, out of the open. We were just talked about that flush down right before we opened. That looks to be bought all the way back so far. So that's a good sign. We'll see if we can continue here. Mitch, if we broke this Mitch dipped. My bad. What I was going to ask is if we broke this pre-market low. He said he was looking for shorts today. So I'm wondering here, if you break this pre-market low, are you then re-shorting there for an intraday trade? Oh, Mitch is back. Did you hear me?
What's up? You trying to short Apple?
Well, no, I was asking you. I was just saying we had noticed that Apple was selling off right before the open. As soon as the open happened, we bought back that dip. So my question to you was, since you're saying you're looking for shorts, if we actually break this low here, this 172.12, or let's just call it 172, are you looking to open a new short on Apple?
On Apple, it would be an interesting one to take, because one of the things with Apple is that you could always get squeezes, right? So it's a little bit of a tougher stock to short. Because people are still looking at it on the upside, right? And so I would look for stocks that are trying to break daily supports. Apple is kind of getting close towards that. It would be the 170 breakdown, but you're still a little bit ways from there. Look at Lucid today. Lucid just completely washed out. I thought that was a better short. I missed the entry right out the gates, but it hasn't come back to VWAP. I have an order out there sitting at 36.20s, but look at that. It already just flushed from 36.68 all the way down to 35.40. You literally could be done for the day with that one trade on Lucid right now. And so that's why you got to be ready for out the gates. If you're a day trader and that's your setup, you take it. It went right to the resistance, which is at 36.68, and it just literally knocked down right there. So that's the green to red look. Whenever I look for green to red, what I'm looking is for resistance to hold. So draw the resistance above, look for that to hold, and quickly flush through the open.
I just want to say something. This morning, just now, is an argument as to why sometimes mental stops can be better than actually having physical stops out there. I looked away from Zillow. I looked away for 2 minutes, okay? And in that time, right off the open, Zillow got to 57.30. If I'd had to stop out there, it would have been in the 57.50 range. I would have 100% gotten filled, right? 100%. I would have sold the stock 2 minutes ago, right? 3 minutes ago. I didn't. I looked away. I don't have an order out there, so I looked away. I didn't see it, okay? Now, I don't know if Zillow is done going down. It may very well hit 56 today, for all I know, in which case I will be out. But the point is, it bounced. It bounced, okay? So in this case, and it doesn't always work this way, but in this case, in this specific case, not having a physical stop out there has, for the moment, worked to my advantage. We'll see if it ends up working that way, but for the moment, I got lucky, but it's worked out for me so far.
Spencer, it's a really good discussion because there are trade-offs, right? If you have a hard stop, it's out there. You don't have to do anything. The stop is going to execute. The price if the price gets down to where your stop is at.
Yeah.
But you could very easily get flushed, like you just outlined right here. You would have been flushed out, right? The stock sold down, hit your stop, bounced in reverse. And how many times do we see that? We see that at least every day, a ton. So by having a mental stop, you can kind of gauge if the stock feels heavy. Is this just going to be a kind of a flush and then a bounce? Like, you can kind of make more decisions. The trade-off there is that if you do that, your emotions might creep in.
Yes.
I always say your first stop is your best stop. So if you're going to have a mental stop, stick to it. Don't bend that stop, because as soon as you start bending that stop down 20 cents, what's to stop you from bending it down $20?
You're absolutely right. That's the other side of the equation is,
yes, sir.
Is that you're at the mercy of your own emotions, which is not always a great place to be. But
so what I like to do in those situations is like what I did on Charge Point. I closed it because it closed underneath the stop, not because it touched the stop.
Fair. That's fair.
So look for a close underneath your stop, and then you can really say, "Hell yeah, I need to get the hell out." Or
I'm gonna go ahead
and
I'm gonna go ahead and take a trade on NVIDIA. I'm gonna go ahead and take the 280 calls expiring this week. As it goes ahead and crosses above 280, and it kind of held one back and forth. I've already got an alert here set, but I'm trying to get ahead of it. Basically, if it goes ahead and creeps below VWAP, I will go ahead and get out. I believe my stop loss will be about 40% of the contract, and since I've suffered in the morning trading this week, I am going much smaller.
Starter on Lucid, guys. Short Lucid here. Got an entry of 36.04. Want to add to this. Have orders to add at 36.17 and 36.20. Didn't get any fills there, but looking to get some fills up there towards 36.20. And then the risk would be off that 36.50 here, right above it. That's when it'd go back through the opening price point, and I wouldn't want it to go through that opening price point. Want it to get right back down towards that 35.40, take it out.
Let's see if I want to take this short.
PayPal trading up, Square trading up, Apple trading up, VIX down. So far, it looks like we're trying to reverse what we were doing yesterday. Just be careful of the head fake. That would be my big thing. If you're going to do it, have a plan to get out if it turns around on you.
All right, guys.
You're really good at that.
Yeah. So really quickly, I'm going to run through that watch list that we made here from the chat here. So what's up, right? So BBY is up 17%, Nikola up 7%, Affirm up 3%. STLA up 2.38, PayPal right behind that. Then you got Uber. What's our downside looking like? WBA is pulling back. Lucid is pulling back. SDS, the ultra short. S&P is on the downside, so that means the market's going up. Zillow also down. We'll see if these can continue making moves.
If anyone is interested in shorting Rivian, it's kind of testing the pre-market highs at 92. You can grab some puts there.
All right, looking good here in the Lucid. We're up towards 36.11s. Now we're down towards 36. Let's see if this can crack down towards 35.50, and we nail this fade.
Yeah, I would echo what Ryan and Mitch just said about the head fake. I mean, we're up pretty much across, not all the way, but we're up in the major indexes so far this morning in the last 9 minutes. But I'm skeptical.
Yeah, I mean, think about yesterday, right? It was kind of a malaise through most of the day. Maybe we drifted lower, but then the Fed minutes came out and we really started to sink.
Yep.
So I see in the chat here, Creel Pull. I hope I'm not butchering your name. I'm sorry if I did. Going to be a huge head fake. That's kind of what I'm saying to watch out. I don't know what's going to happen, but definitely watch for that because I'm a bit suspicious. Let's just leave it at that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, looking for this to get the takedown.
Zunaid to keep us in the loop on NVDA.
All right, well, the first 10-minute candle closed green above VWAP. I like it. It did bounce off of VWAP as well as the 279. I'm also keeping an eye on Rivian, but I don't want to try to be cute where I go long something and short something and try to go 2 for 2. You know what I mean? But I really do like it's already come down $1 since I mentioned it, but the Rivian short at highs of pre-market was a nice short there.
Hex 214 Pony, was the Rivian pretty or not? I'm curious what you thought of how it looked.
Yeah, I'd like to know what you thought about how it looked in person. That's a good question.
I don't know. Does one call car our car is described as pretty? I don't know how you describe a car, but whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Sure. Corvettes are very pretty. I mean,
okay.
Ferraris too.
You've got Biden talking. He's been talking for a minute. He actually just finished. So hopefully.
No, he's not going to say anything about the market today.
No. He was talking about. Actually, I don't even know. I have it turned off.
Don't worry about it. He ain't talking about the market today. That's the last thing.
Pelosi told him not to. She's like, "Hey, listen, I bought calls. They're kind of struggling. I need you to calm down."
All right. Jim says the Rivian looks fresh. All right, that's cool. I saw a picture.
All right, guys, looking to take first profit here to 66 here. Order out to sell at 66. Let's see if we get it.
See, like right here is where you got to be careful because right now I'm looking at NVIDIA. I'm tempted to follow Zunaid right here, but I feel like we could just very easily just sink.
Absolutely.
I feel like it's almost like it's an inflection point. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm looking at this. I'm like, boy, Zunaid, that does look like a good one here.
All right, the order went on the bid there. I just canceled my order. 100 went just through that bid. Now I'm going to take this momentum push of that bidder that just went through there. There's 66, just took half of it off there, guys. 100 shares taken off there at 66. Let's let this rest of this work. We're at 36.11 for the entry on Lucid. We're going to look for the low of the day breakdown, which is through 35.50, and then we're going to look for that extension momentum and take the profit.
If I had balls, I would come in and short Bed Bath or buy puts on Bed Bath, but I don't, frankly. We're at 16 now in Bed Bath & Beyond. It's been a ridiculous morning. Pull it up on my screen here. There it is.
All right, let's see what happens in Lucid. Took that first profit. It is coming back to VWAP. You don't want to see it hold above 36. Above 36 could easily stop us out at break even. We're not going to let this become a loser. We're letting it try to work here. And one of the things that you can do at the very beginning is kind of hurt yourself if you keep going into the trade past that break-even spot.
I see Ryan in the chat saying AMD is fading. You know, I actually set up a very rough scanner here to kind of scan for growth stocks, large cap growth stocks that basically
out. You see how quickly it can happen, guys? You don't want to get caught there. I'm already out of the name there.
Ryan, would you find anything of note?
Well, what I'm seeing here is that some of these growth names that we've seen, like Chewy, NXPI, Adobe, Xilinx, PayPal, NVIDIA, all of these stocks are up today, but they're not up very much. And when I actually went into the minute chart, I noticed that a lot of them traded up, kind of sold back off. NVIDIA actually looks like the best one here. Nice spot on that, Zunaid. But I just kind of see like a theme here where it looks like they're trying to trade back up. But on some of these, like Chewy, for example, this actually starting to round off too. It looks like they were trading up out of the open and then taking a break, but now it looks like they're catching their footing. And this is kind of what I was talking about. One of the things that I'm looking for. I want to see if this holds. Still paying attention to the head fake. And if we take a look at AMD actually is a better example of this. Look, it took off right out of the open, gave all those gains back, but it's trying to hold in there. So just need some more information on this one.
That actually, you mentioned PayPal. That one looks interesting to me because that one has been pretty strong all morning.
Yep.
Since the open.
And Spence, if we actually compare that, let's take a look at Square, Block, or whatever you want to call it. You know, similar, not holding the gains as well as PayPal. Had a very similar move out of the open, but just not holding up there and already kind of reversing.
All right, guys, I just want to call out now, we're getting towards that time where you usually see the fake out, right? So the SPY went up there towards that 945. We're starting to get towards that 945. In the next 15 minutes is where I'm going to be looking for if this is just a dead cat bounce. The next 15 minute, look for a big SPY 1 minute candle on the downside. That would show me that, yes, dead cat bounce, I can go shorting again. If not, I'll look for longs. There's a reason why I got out of Lucid at that spot and I didn't want to stick around because this could easily happen, the spike, right? And then you get squeezed out. And next thing you know, you get some slippage. You gave back all the gains that you were trying to get. That's why we took some profit down here. Now we're going to look for it to reject from the next resistance, which is 36.68.
Shout out to SA. Great job taking puts and kind of executing your own plan based on just calling it out. I didn't want to be cute with trying to go long one and short one, but you can see short after that 92 that we called out. Beautiful short there. Already got about $3. And NVIDIA thankfully is up and went ahead and touched 282. But great job, SA. You're the one who figured out what puts to get and where to go and when to get out. So great job. Way to execute. In terms of my NVIDIA, boy, I need to figure out which one I gave you guys. Because I've got my ones from yesterday. There it is. We're only up about 7%. Man, I swear, if this ends up being like the Micron trade yesterday where the stock goes up and my options don't go up as much, I'm going to be a little irritated. But so far, looking good. It held the VWAP on the 10-minute. It's climbing up shortly. As long as the market doesn't screw us, we should be good on this one. And if you wanted to take something that's not a weekly, by the way, on pullbacks, you can go ahead and grab the 300 expiring next week. You're going to pay about $3 and some change. But that could be something interesting if you're wanting a little bit more time. But I will say this, make sure you go ahead and take your profits quick, just in case we get a little pull. And Rivian, good God. SA, are you still in it? Keep taking the blue pills. It's working. SA, are you still in the Rivian shorts? Because, I mean, good God, look at that. Now it's 88 from the 92 call out. I hope you are.
All right. Out of Zillow. Broke down.
Hey, it happens, brother. Let it go. There's a reason why I got out of charge point, right? I mean, look at charge point today.
That was quick. That was a quick fake.
It was a swing trade for me, but I wanted to get out below 19. And as you can see, no bounce back today. So this is not the market to fight your swing trades, guys.
Absolutely.
This is not that market. This is the market that if it says to get rid of it, you get rid of it. You say goodbye. I'll see you later.
You can always rebuy if the sentiment changes, man. You can always rebuy.
Yeah. This was a different kind of thing when you used to have, like, let's say, high commission costs, but you have no commission costs on majority of your brokerages now. Yep. So, I mean, if you have no commission, that means it's okay, guys. You can get in, out as you please.
SA, I would go ahead and start. Oh my God, I would go ahead and start closing out on that Rivian. Not closing out, excuse me, but at least hope you scaled out because that's a $5 move you're about to get.
Honestly, I still like the trade.
You would take it here?
No, I still like it on the short side. It could come back to 90 and then get shorted again.
Yeah, if it comes back to VWAP, which is close to 90, then yeah, but that's like $3 away. But I mean,
Oh,
this
no,
is
what I'm
great,
saying
great
is-
job.
Yeah, what I'm saying is you don't have to close it right now. It's still trending on the downside, but it just depends on how you're kind of trading it.
I'd definitely scale out, but I hear what you're saying, though. Definitely a good chance to get re-entered here on the $90 VWAP test, possibly. But great job, SA. That's awesome. On my NVIDIA one, it's coming back down just a little bit. Still above VWAP, still holding it. Let's see. I am down 15 from being up.
Jim Cramer talking about Dwight Eisenhower. They should retire together.
Okay, not interested. I'm always trying to refine I'm always trying to refine my scanner, right? I'm always refining it. I'm always putting in different inputs. I'm always changing different parameters. Right now, I'm playing around with the market cap. See what happens if I just raise it a little bit.
All right, I got one that you guys can look at. There's a reopening trade, MGM, guys. Casinos are getting really good day today, guys. So if you want to look for a trade for the upside, reopening trade on in resorts and casinos. I'll call some of them out. MGM, you can see the straight trend up. That gives me that sign right there. MLCO is one. LVS, you can take a look. Nice little VWAP bounce right now. Could get a nice breakout through the 38 level. That's LVS. Win Resorts here, trying to push towards 86. We'll see if that can keep going. Caesars, right off the VWAP. So a lot of these moving hand in hand. So you can take a look at BYD. A lot of them moving the same way, all trying to get that VWAP bounce right now.
You've got NVIDIA coming right on back down to about the 277 level. It's right below VWAP. I'm going to give it maybe about $1 more. Because of that risk reward, I went ahead and grabbed one more contract at $3.50, the same exact one. The 280 is expiring this week. I am going to risk about 50 cents on that contract. So I'm but I'm expecting to stop out below 277. And again, this is just a risk reward thing for me. If it goes right back above VWAP and tests 280, great. We'll close out. We've done this many times, but we're risking about 50 cents and hoping to get at least $1, if not more. But I'll let you guys know as soon as I'm out.
Spencer, you're going to have to get some money together for what I call a YOLO account because you would have been killing it.
I know, my bed bath. I know.
Killing it.
But it's one thing that I have the capital. I just don't have the balls. You know what I mean?
But there's just give yourself a little bit of fun money.
Yeah.
So how do I short this one? Oh, go ahead, Zunaid. You're talking about active trade. Go ahead.
Oh, no. I wasn't. I was going to mess around and say, look, we've got the quarterly meeting coming up tomorrow. Just make sure there's a budget for Spencer to YOLO. That's all.
So this is how I short this type of stock right here. Yeah. So I use the hourly resistance, right? Sure. Look how this comes right to 1628. There's a couple of wicks there to go to 1630s, but the bodies close right there at 1628. Look how that went up there to 1628 and rejects. Those are the levels you want to get on. So if you're thinking about this trade, Spencer, you wait for that 1 hour resistance. As soon as it hits that 1 hour resistance, you take your shot on the downside. Okay. And then you use that level. If that candle, whatever time frame you're on, closes above that, you get out of the trade. But if the time frame that you're on closes below that, you stay in it, and you could watch this just get knocked right back down.
All right, that's a good tip. I just want to mention here that we did officially turn red in the S&P and in the NASDAQ.
What did we do? We knocked down right towards that 945 candle. And what did I say? Look for big candles on the downside, bigger than the green candles on the upside. Look how big that one candle was in 5 minutes.
All right, real quick. Thank the Lord. NVIDIA's coming back up from that second buy. I'm going to go ahead and sell 3/4 of the second ad here at 390 on the bid just because I want to get rid of it. So I'm out 3/4 of the second buy that I had on the dip. And now we hope that this crosses above VWAP. Woo, I was sweating. I can't be red 3 days in a row on the show. I can't do it. Man. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I still might be, but you know.
Okay, I'm keeping an eye on that. PayPal was so strong. I'm keeping an eye. Yeah, okay. It looks like it wants to come back down to earth. Come back down to the open. PayPal does. Every growthy thing that looked like it was bumping off the open, right? Beyond Meat coming down off its highs. PayPal coming down off its highs. These are the things we talked about this morning on Pre-Market Prep when we say it's a time to fade pops. You sell rips. These are the rips, right? Beyond Meat just ripped off the open. And rip is maybe a strong word, but it did go higher off the open. You can sell into that, right? PayPal, you sell into that. Both off their highs of the day right now. What else? I mean, Zoom, right? Teledoc, all off their highs of the day. Roku, they all popped off the open. All those pops have been sold. That's the way it is.
Starter on there, Lucid. Looking to add at VWAP. Wanted to get back to VWAP, and then I can add for the short breakdown here. But there is an offer that keeps showing up there that I think he's going to take down Lucid right now. 72s. There's a big order.
SPY's trying to bounce here, so we'll see if this can grab hold.
I very much do want Mitch, there was a question in the chat for you about MGM, but I very much do want to hang, but I do have to bounce and prepare for Benzinga Live and take care of some other planning things. So I'll catch you guys later. But Zunaid, good job so far this morning. Ryan's being disciplined. I like it. Mitch, keep doing what you're doing. Go ahead and hit that like button, everyone, and catch you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.
Mitch is carrying us. You had a nice short on Ford yesterday. You have a nice short today as well. Elite trading, it's hopium. I get it. I agree with you that if I was just had no plan and I was hoping for it to just go up, yes. But I promise you, I'm staring at this NVIDIA chart. If NVIDIA's chart right now was a person, they would have called the cops on me for being a creep and stalking them. All right, I'm just hawking this thing right now.
All right, nailing this Lucid short here, guys. This is the stock of the day, the trade of the day, and I'm going to stay on it. I don't want to look at other charts. I've been watching the price action all day. I want to see this knock through the 3550s here. If not, I'm going to take the price off, and I'll look to re-enter at VWAP, which is 36. But I have 35.73, so I don't want it to get back to VWAP, but I looked for the momentum to just drill this down here.
You know, Mitch, that's part of discipline too, right? If you have something that's working, if you have something that you have a plan for, sticking with that instead of trying to spread yourself across other stocks is going to be discipline. Looking at your Lucid trade here, we snapped this low a day. I think you are going to have a momentum push.
Half off there, 49, guys. So half off there just at the low of the day because it could come back to VWAP, right? I don't want to make sure that I don't give up some of that. It was 20 cents there. It's not much on the gain side, but I'll take the $20, right? Now I'll look for the rest of the trade. And what I did by taking half of that off here, hands off. You can just relax now. Let this trade just destroy that down. Let's go. The dark side, baby.
This is the break that you need, Mitch. You need this break at 35.35. It's right there. Right there.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's see if we can break the 35.35, which is the low of the day. The low of the day is 35.35. We're going to look for a breakdown of that, and then we'll look for a continuation move down. What's the next move down? You can look at the hourly chart to look for the next support. Support down from here is all the way down towards 34.17. So you could see a big flush of 35. So let's see if we can get this back. If it comes back to our entry, though, we do get out. We don't let this get into a losing trade. Don't let it go red. And that's the hard part of day trading, right? Like you could easily let a trade go red. When this thing spiked right here, remember I told you guys at 36.11 we would get out. I got out with a little bit of slippage at 36.14, which was a 3-cent loss on the rest of the shares. But I'm okay with that because I didn't respect that. It would have gone to 36.50 and we would have lost all the gains we did on that first short. There's down to 34.16s now. We're going to take the profit down into here, into the 35s. There's
Great job.
35.08s. I'm going to actually mark it onto this. Just because I don't care. It's just a flush. I'm just trying to get the moment. Oh, look at that big order on the. I want to show you guys this. I have to just take the profit here. There you go. There's 1,000 orders showing up on the bid there at 35.
Yep.
1,000. If you guys know on the level 2, what would that be equaled up to? Multiply that by 100, guys.
100,000.
100,000 shares is sitting there at 35.
But now, Mitch, though, to your point, I'm glad that you took partial there, but let's talk about the strategy here. What happens if you think that bid gets eaten?
Yeah, it could.
You're going to have another flush to the downside. So I liked when you took partial right at that first level. I was telling you that break of 35.35 is going to send it down. It did. Here we are at 35. Let's see if we get another push down if they eat that bid.
Yep. So there you guys have it. We're already out of the trade. I'm fully out of the trade. It was more of a momentum trade here. So I'm not going to stress if we get more reward, but that's what it was all about. Boom. Knockdown.
We're trying.
Back, done deal. But the bid could also be someone trying to buy the dip, right?
Yep.
So that I don't want it. I don't want to fight somebody that's trying to buy 100,000 shares. That's why I always say, take a look for the big boys. The big boys are the ones that I want to find. If I find a big boy order, and I can somewhat use my psychology to figure out, hey, is this a buyer, seller? Sometimes you don't even need to know what side they're on, but just knowing that there's a big order that went through, that creates momentum.
Bang, right through 35. Look at that. They ate that. It took them 3 attempts to eat that, but they ate the entire thing. Look at the push that you just got off that.
Yep.
Unreal. This is the opposite of some of the things that I'm looking for on that small cap side when I'm trading to the upside. Where are those ask walls going to get eaten? Well, on the short side, it's the other way. Where are those bid walls going to get eaten? This was a textbook play, Mitch. Great job.
Yeah, you killed this one, dude.
Great job, man.
One thing I will tell you guys, whenever I see short kind of environments, I really like the hourly resistance, because what that does is if when a stock goes for an hour to the upside, a lot of the times you're going to see these retail traders, the day traders, they get way too bullish. They just see a big candle on the upside and they just start smashing that buy button. The bigger time frame traders, the institutionals, the insiders, the hedge funds, the smallest chart they're probably using is a 15. So that's why I like to go back towards that hourly, the daily, and look for those flush outs.
I would expect another bounce on Lucid at 34.36. That would be your support one in terms of pivot points. So I think that you might actually bounce there if we continue to get to that level.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get off of Lucid here just so I don't come back into this trade now, right? And one of the things that you could easily do is start feeling a little bit of a FOMO type move here, and that's not what we want. So let's go ahead. Let's go back towards the watch list of the day. We had a watch list given out. So on the downside, Lucid. On the downside, Zillow. Clean Spark was mentioned from the chat. Affirm also. All those are down about 3 to 4%. What's on our upside? Right, so we still got BBY is still on the upside. STLA is up 1.72, but if you can see, it's very low on the upside, higher on the downside. It's just showing us today, right now, still in kind of a weakness mode. We'll see what happens right now. All right, so Tesla was one I was looking for a short today, and you can see it cracking hard right now. So we got multiple tops here, right? So you got the 3 tops and the breakdown. Look for it to come back towards this 1070, which will act as resistance if it comes back towards that level. That's where we broke down from. We broke down big. I'm looking for a retracement to that, and then I could look for a short to take down Tesla.
Yeah, all EVs are just hella weak right here. If NVIDIA is going to break this 275, as an awful trade by me here on NVIDIA, I'm going to go ahead and cut it here in a second. Should have just taken that Rivian trade, but great job carrying us, man. That was an awesome short on Lucid.
Yeah, it's
great way to identify that EVs would be weak, and Lucid was one of the ones that paid out really well for you.
Yeah, well, one thing is you and I have been both watching those price levels, right, around 38s, 40s. It's been fighting, right? Like you and I were both even looking for the upside at one point above that 40, but it just didn't want to go. And when stocks don't want to go, and it just keeps fighting, guess what happens? You get that test of support, and then it just breaks, guys. And that's why you always got to be careful when you're trading within a range. Because if you're trading within the range, if you just for one day take your eyes off of it, it could break that support and you could get caught.
A number of people in the chat asking to see Amazon here. Amazon, really kind of a rough day.
This was my concern. I don't want to see it break 3,000. This is a real concern. This is like, I'm talking about like margin accounts getting hit.
Mitch, we got some pretty good support at 3170. I think we would need to take off before we talk about.
Yeah, did you mean 3,300? You said 3,000. I assume you mean 3,300.
No, I don't even mean that.
3,000.
I'm looking at 3,000.
Word.
Because what I'm looking at is more monthly support. This thing has been in a monthly trend for so long. If this breaks the trend line here at, let's say, 3,300s, and then starts heading towards 3,000 and takes out that low, I'm not going to feel good for the market, guys. That's going to really kind of concern me.
I mean, man, if that ends up getting there to 3,000, you'll definitely have a great opportunity to play something on the put side.
But even then, you don't, because at least I can tell you, there's a lot of people that just give up money in Amazon and options. They're really expensive. The price has huge volatility, and it's hard to trade when a stock moves, let's say 100 point up, or look at right here. Look at the average true range. The average true range for this stock is 346 points. That's hard to trade, guys. I'll tell you that right now. That's really hard to trade. The algorithms trade a lot of Amazon.
NVIDIA, I am out. I'm going to go find the nearest ramen place and see if Luke Jacoby has any overtime work for me. Just didn't quite work out. Didn't have the momentum. The market was awful. I didn't recognize it quick enough. I should have taken that Rivian trade, but hindsight is 2020. I might actually need to take a blue pill, guys.
I'll tell you what is a trade you can take a look at, man. Let's keep an eye out, and I feel bad for the apes out there, but AMC drilled down again. Easy short today. GME also. Just take a look at these, right? Look how the resistance holds, the green to red. Hourly resistance runs right into it. Boom, gets knocked down right from that level.
Man, the leveraged ETF short, it's sunk out of the gate, but it's putting new highs. New high today. That looks to continue here. I think we might continue to be in trouble today. This might be another really down day.
Yeah, one of the things to mention, remember how technology was up from the open?
Everything.
Now it's down 4.48. And so that's the concerning part. That's where I really started getting interested in shorting again, because I saw, technology going up. And right around this 945, we started just ticking down and washing out. Right when I saw this is when I was like, okay, let's go look at Lucid. Let's see if we got a VWAP short here to get it on in there. And technology was the one that I was looking to save us today. It's not saving anybody right now.
And we were also talking earlier about trying to find a footing. We're not finding any footing. In fact, or at least right now, it looks like some of this stuff is speeding up. It's continuing to put in a new high. I think above the high that we set earlier was 2079. I think if we take that out, we could actually go towards 22 here today.
Big concerning sign here, and I'm looking at the market breadth, right? We need to look at what's going on. Where's the strong? Where's the weak? This is what I do every single day on Money Mitch. Where's the strength? Where's the weakness? To tell you the truth, there is no strength right now. If I'm looking at it right now, energy pulling back, financial services pulling back, even defensives are pulling back right now. So if there's anywhere you can maybe look, looks like tobacco stocks are up right now. But if you want to look at a stock, maybe MO here or PM, you can take a look at those. But I'm telling you, there's not much strength around here. Maybe insurances, looking at RE, but these are very low volume traded stocks. So your volume could actually affect these stocks. I wouldn't actually probably be trading these. Energy to the downside is one that I'm actually looking, because it's been ripping, right? And so you see Gush push right out the gates, but now it's starting to get into that red zone. Look for maybe Drip to take a lift. Look how Drip went to the 454s. Now has held VWAP two times. I would look for a third time. A quick dip and Drip, hold that VWAP, and you could go long on the opposite side of energy today. Lucid still breaking down there all the way down towards the 34s. Maybe took profit a little early, and that's why you sometimes take the chart off, because I would have been very tempted to just maybe, I'll just scalp 10 cents or I'll just scalp 10 cents. No. You made your trade. You took the profits. Hands off, pat on the back. Don't ever look back at trades and tell yourself would have, could have, should have. Just tell yourself what you executed on. And when you execute great, give yourself a great proud pat on the back. When you don't execute and lose, that's when you really want to be tough on yourself, because that's the hard part, right? Losing is going to happen. Not executing is the hard part of trading.
And to take that a step further, Mitch, when you lose, the important thing that you do in that situation is learn why that took place and then try to better that, right? And as opposed to getting all down on it, try to figure out what took place and how you can actually avoid that going forward.
The hood down to 15. Remember, guys, I said this. I literally was looking for hood to come to 15. We're getting towards that price point where I think, yeah, you can start maybe dipping your toes long term in Hood. I talked about this with Spencer. If we get down to 10, can we start buying on Hood? I wanted 15, but it looks like even 15 is not holding well right now. Looks like we might get down towards the teens in Hood. This would be concerning to me also showing up in coin. Look how coin is going down to take out the lows. There's so many people trapped in coin. This is why I've been telling people, with these IPOs, you don't trade them until they show you positive movement. That's when you should have been trading, let's say, Unity. Like Unity did this whole sideways move. Wait till you see that positive movement. But even this stock that is such a favorite, look how it's turned around. These IPOs, you got to be careful out there, guys. I would be really concerned. And if we think about it, right, this is the .com era again. What took the hit the most were the new IPOs.
You've got SA who took the Rivian puts at the 92, asking where the bottom is. Man, I have no idea, but good God, what a great trade by you to take on those puts.
You see,
great job on that.
What I would recommend on this is what I use is a moving average and an exponential moving average. So, or you can use what's called a trailing stop at this point, because what you want to do is you want to continue trading with the trend. So the trend for me, I use the 9 EMA to tell me the trend is continuing. So you see how it's all above the price action. As long as it stays above the price action, you're looking good and you could continue riding that wave down. If it gets above that 9 EMA and closes above it, then I would look for the reversal back towards VWAP. So that's kind of what I would use. I would use a 9 EMA, but you could also use a trailing stop here. Let's say maybe a 2% filter up to 80.43s is a 2.7% move. So I would use maybe a trailing stop of 2%. If the trade goes against me 2%, it's going to stop me out. Just to kind of explain what that would mean.
On the Rivian one, I've been looking for this one to come back and test VWAP so I can take it, because I think it's down like 16% today. Or at least it was at one point. Looking for this one to possibly come back and test VWAP so that I can have a better risk reward and take some puts on it. And maybe I'll listen to myself on the second time around.
Right, guys, energy to the upside. Duke was one of my favorite stocks for energy plays. Let's see if this one can take out 105. This would be kind of more of a scalp. A little bit too expensive, so I'm not going to make much money if I scalp this one. I don't have too much capital to be scalping this because I don't think it's going to make, like, let's say more than a 1 point move, but I'm going to definitely keep this one on watch. Duke today doing pretty well. POR is another one I'd give out. Portland General Electric, look for a VWAP bounce there at 52.90s. I do like that one. Daily has a nice push through 53. And so looking for these General Electric stocks, you see how I have the circle on there. I've been watching this one for a while, as from when I've been calling it out, looking for utilities to have a good move into the beginning of the year. And that's what we've been seeing a lot of. So cyclicalness, seasonality, look for those to kind of keep playing. To me, that's utilities now and infrastructure stocks. I think they're taking a break right now. CAT, you can see from CAT, it's sideways right now. I don't want to see it take out that Tuesday high, which was, the Tuesday close, which is 218.08. But if it holds that, I'm still feeling bullish about this Caterpillar and let's say Honeywell. Honeywell looks great today. That looks beautiful. I might actually take a swing trade on Honeywell. And why do I like these? Because they're infrastructure stocks, and I think they're going to have a good year. This one looks good off of the 200. It did hold that 200 support really well, and looking like it could come back on up, take 225s out, and then go to 250. That's Honeywell.
I want to
point out some positive. So there is some positive out there, guys.
Right. I wanted to bring up what Will said a while back. If we scroll up in the chat, there's no need to do it, but I'll just say what he said. He said, Zunaid, you're not looking at Tesla for the second day in a row. Instead, you're revenge trading NVIDIA. And you're absolutely right? And I want the viewers to kind of learn from why it's bad to revenge trade, not just because you lose money like I did personally in NVIDIA, but also because you're missing opportunity costs. Look at this on Tesla. Obviously, I'm looking back at hindsight 2020 on the 10-minute, which is what I like to look. It wanted to close below VWAP and below the EMAs, and this is where I would have gotten short with a stop loss right above this, and it would have given me a beautiful trade. So just a quick important lesson live, learn from someone else why you shouldn't try to revenge trade, not just because you'll lose money there possibly, but because of opportunity costs on other tickers. Because the EVs have just been hella weak. We saw that in Lucid that Mitch took short. We saw that in Rivian that SA went ahead and took, and you're obviously seeing it in Tesla right here as well.
And market continues to sell off here. We're coming down to our support one pivot pretty much across the board here. We'll see if this holds. So far, momentum continuing to the downside.
What a day, guys.
What a day is right.
Remember, I told you guys.
It hasn't been an hour.
Yeah, I know. It's still so early.
Guys, Kathy is definitely like,
Come on, brain. Think.
Come on, brain. Think.
We're gonna die.
We're
Last
gonna
chance to get out
die.
of here. Hello?
I really do wonder.
we need to do something here.
Yeah. I don't know. God bless her.
Guys, what's going on in the market, guys? Look at this, guys. I've gone through this too much lately. And I think people just, and I put this out way early that I was worried about Kathy because she was just triple downing on things that you just don't do. You just don't do the things that she's doing. And it's exactly why.
Maybe she's hedged by buying SARK.
Yeah, let's keep in mind, it's not like she's just straight up buying stocks and just holding on to them. There are so many different strategies that are so complex. And don't forget about the run-up that she's had since the March lows.
Exactly.
I think she's still 100% since the March lows, right? I mean, it went from 40 all the way to 150. And of course, the type of market that we're in is not favorable to her. The tides have changed. But it's not like she's just holding on to the stock.
You can defend her, Zunaid, but I think
it's not about defending. It's about giving both sides, right?
It's about having context.
I think it'd be silly to just say she's buying the stocks and just hurting. No, she's hedging along the way as well. There's no question about it.
I don't think she's doing it right, man. Let's just say that. You might.
I mean, the chart agrees with you since 2021.
I mean, all the stocks agree with me, not one. It's all
I'm
of
saying
them.
her chart. We're talking about her chart, right? So her ARKK agrees with you since the start of 2021, where it hit a highs of 160, and now you're looking at an 83 print.
I mean, I just think this is really bad because one of the things that she's been
I
doing
agree.
is stating that, like, pretty much she's stating that, like, no, this is all good. We got this, guys. Deflation next year. We're going to come back. We're going to roar. And then if you listen to, like, a lot of, like, the talk, right? I watched the webinars from ARK. I watched every single one. And I can tell you right now, they're super, super bullish, every single one. But is it bullish? I mean, you can talk about the disruptiveness of technology, but really, I think this is more of a 10-year outlook. So
she said herself, what was it, 5 years is what her outlook
5
is, right?
years
So, like,
outlook.
Yeah.
So this is the problem, though. I think that's a really bad kind of look when you're looking at an active ETF, right? It's not like this is a passive ETF that just you just kind of sit back, relax. This is an active ETF. Active ETFs should be in and out of positions, not letting themselves get destroyed on. And I think that's what's been happening here. She's just literally watching herself be deleted. The only thing that's helping her is that she has a pile and I'll say it as much as it can be, that she has this money stacks that she can just add to the position and not worry about the position. Well, some of us can't do that. Let's just be honest. Majority of retail traders can't just be adding and adding and adding and adding. And I think it's creating a horrible, horrible investment outlook for traders that are out there that joined in 2020.
I mean, you and I can have a debate about this all the time, but I'll just go ahead and wrap up my point with this. I think one of her biggest positions was Tesla, right? If you want to pull up the Tesla daily chart, that had a beautiful and a nice run, right? Mm-hmm. So I agree with you that yes, her other holdings, because she has a long-term view, in the short term, she is recognizing a lot of pain. But let's not forget about the fact that it's not just she has a pile of money. She's also had great profits in Tesla. That was one of her biggest positions and has done really, really well for her. But I agree. Short-term, pain. You've cut your ETF, ARKK, from 160s to 83s. That's almost 50% haircut. But even with that, it's still 100% gains since March lows. So imagine the performance when it got to 160 from 40. But I agree with you. If you invested in 2021 or any time before that, you're feeling pain. No question about it.
My simple question to that would be, was that the market effect or was that Kathy calling a good call?
You talk. What do you? Is the same way. If you're
No,
gonna
it's
if you're
the
gonna
market
discredit
effect,
her,
dude.
and I love this
It's the
conversation.
market
Anyone has a
effect.
trade, please go ahead and interrupt us.
It's the
But
market
if you're gonna
effect, dude.
discredit
That's
her,
why she went up.
if you're
That's
gonna,
why she went up, because the market. It
that's
wasn't
why
'cause she made
she's
a good
down, because
pick.
the market's not in her favor. So what I'm saying is the same reason that benefited her, which was the market atmosphere in 2020, is what's hurting her in 2021 and now with the start of 2022. You can't say, oh, she got lucky in 2020 because the market was in her favor, and then say, oh no, she's just horrible when the market is no longer in favor of growth stocks. Take a look at any growth stock that is not in her portfolio. They're struggling too.
So to me, that just shows me that she wasn't right to begin with, and she's not right here. That's what
It
I would
just
say.
means that she hasn't adjusted, and I'll give you a perfect example. Actually, we won't go there, but it's just a matter of fact that I don't want to get too crazy with it because, we are live trading. But you can't discredit someone because of their success, and for that same principle, be like, oh, she just got lucky and now the market's correcting her. It's like she just hasn't. Her type of trading, her type of investing hasn't been kind to her, and she's absolutely struggling. I just don't think you can do a little flip flop on, oh, hey, here's why you sucked, but here's why you got lucky. You know what I mean? But I agree with you, though, in the fact that, hey, it's pain, right? Like in 2020, when my friends were like, hey, what should I invest in? I said, dude, I personally would go 90% ETF in terms of SPY and 10% in ARK. They were thanking me and buying me dinner. Now they're like, what the hell did you tell me to invest in? They're still up, right? They're still up. Don't get me wrong. But that's just my 2 cents. But you're right, Al. Let's get back to trading. But that was a good conversation. I like debates like that. Gives the viewers both sides, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's what matters, And my biggest concern is always that I really get upset when the retail trader gets misinformation, and I think this is what's happening.
Yeah.
And as always,
do your DD, right?
I'm one person that I can tell you right now, I hate disinformation, and there's a shit ton of it out there in the market. So I try to call it out when I see it.
But let's go ahead and get back and see if we got any trades. I'm gonna go back to check out Rivian.
I'm looking at Rivian. Remember, we talked about what would cause me to get out of the trade, right? Was a close above that 9 EMA. That's exactly what happened near this 10-16 1-minute candle where we got above towards 79. So that would be the point that I would have taken out the profits. What is that from the low? You can see here, 79. So let's go to 79. I got 78.90s, but to the low is about 4.45%. So if you were actually using, let's say, a trailing stop, this would actually got you more profits than the 9 EMA strategy. So the trailing stop, if you would have put, let's say, because we talked about this, a 2% filter on the trailing stop, you would have been stopped out before that 9 EMA break. So that would actually help you got more of the profits. So we want to talk about ways to keep in profits. There's those trailing stops. You can use SMAs. You can use EMAs. I would suggest EMAs because it makes the weight of the most recent price action heavier. But it's always determined about what you want to use. And this is a clear example of how both of them could kind of be used.
And really quickly, Mitch, let me bring up my screen here real quick. So I had mentioned that we were trading into the support resistance on SPY. It looks like we've actually bounced right off of that, literally to the exact dollar. We bounced off of that. What'll be curious to me looking forward here is, do we actually hold this going forward, or does this simply reverse again? Because obviously we had talked about the head fake early on. Looks like we got that. Now let's see if we actually bounce here. Looks as if we're bouncing. Let me see if I can get an exact number here for you. 465 looks to be that bounce point.
All right, John Lewis saying, thanks for getting back on track. We need Spencer. Well, the thing is, I mean, we took a second there. One of the things is that it's not just about trading here. We're taking a really deeper look about what's going on in the market right now, and I think it's very important to kind of talk about.
Yeah, you've got Rivian coming up and testing VWAP here. I will go ahead and say this. I've got performance anxiety. I am going to go ahead and take a back seat because in my head, what I would love to do is take a short on Rivian here with VWAP being my risk off level, if you will, because it is coming back up and testing it. But it just hasn't been my week per se. I've gotten saved the past 2 days because of the late afternoon trading where SPY went ahead and got up. That was nice momentum, and I got a chance to take advantage of the put side. But Patrick Starr, first debate of 2021. Hey, this should have been on CNN.
No, this was real. It shouldn't have been on CNN.
Right?
My bad. Sorry.
That was actually Zunaid and I debating, not something that was scripted.
It wasn't fake production crap. Oh man.
The fun part is,
my goodness.
I won't send Zunaid hate mail after.
It's all right. I'll pull a Hillary and delete it. But anyway, getting back to the charts though.
Send it
just
to the
keep
server.
it an eye.
Send it to that server that you have, Zunaid.
Just keep.
Junaid's not even going to be able to finish the segment. He's laughing too hard.
All right, guys. I want to call out some positive, right? We're talking a lot of negative. Let's get back towards maybe some positive here. Some softwares are catching a little bit of a bid today. CRM is one of those that is catching a little bit of a bid there, now getting back above the VWAP. Look for this one to continue going. Keep an eye on Microsoft. Want to see what happens at the softy here that can get back above the resistance right now. Clear trend line above this 316.50. That's what I'm looking to see if it's going to continue its move on up. And then you could actually look for some other of these software names to kind of do well. Adobe is another one that I'm looking at today, bouncing back well there. So you got to look to see what was the weak ones, right? These were the weakest, and now they're bouncing back. That can give us a good sign that we're seeing a little bit of a slowdown in the downside move, and they could potentially find some dip buys in these. Of course, these would be kind of, to me, kind of rips to sell. So you're trying to literally get that momentum towards the upside and sell into it. I still wouldn't be looking at these for swing trades on the upside, but I don't mind them for momentum trades on up.
We've got boss man Luke Jacoby in the chat. Go ahead, Ryan.
I want to know if Ryan has hot trades. Luke, I do not have any hot trades, man. I am doing my best to practice what I preach about discipline. Now is not the time to take any hot trades. I'm just kind of watching the dichotomy of the market.
We talk about how staying cash is a position, right? And by you doing that, you've saved yourself money, if you will, because I know you wanted to take a look at NVIDIA and follow along, and it's great that you didn't because you went ahead and saved yourself some cash.
Yeah, exactly. The last thing I want to do is today's already tough enough. The last thing I want to do is donate more money. I mean,
absolutely.
Come on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's not the fun way.
We need Luke to come here and trade with us.
Hey, hell yeah!
We need you to sling around your $1 million, sir.
If Spencer was here, he could go grab Luke, and we could bring Luke into this entire thing. That would be fun. What are your hot stocks?
We need. Yeah, isn't your username Hot Stocks, Luke?
Yes.
Luke, we need you on for Lotto Fridays once a month because I know you're a busy man leading the charge at Benzinga. But we need you on for 30 minutes or so on Fridays. Lotto Fridays with Luke.
Push out on Microsoft, guys. Look for these. I would start looking for reversals here in the market now.
So one of the things that I thought was interesting when you brought up Microsoft, one of the growth names, take a look at IBM, right? That's one of the value tech names. That's actually getting destroyed today. And that's been the opposite of what we saw yesterday. IBM now has been up since the whole spinoff talk. But I just find it interesting that some of these growth names are bouncing, continue to bounce, and the value names are actually getting hit now. We'll see how long this lasts, but interesting stuff right here. In fact, speaking of levels, I actually think that Mitch is looking for a reversal on some of those growth names. Level here on IBM, potential 134. You actually might even be able to trade against that. So if you wanted to play IBM for a bounce here, I would use 134 as your stop.
I like
mental it. or full, whatever you like.
Ryan, I need you to come over here and cut off my internet because I'm taking a look at NVIDIA if you want to go and throw up my chart, Mitch. And I know Will's going to kill me too, but it's like it's above VWAP. Literally would have...
That's my fault.
I can't. Okay. I can't. I'm out.
Zunaid, I won't be able to
take
come over
me off the schedule.
I will start DDoSing you so that you cannot even get on the internet. How about that? Does that work?
Oh my God. I can't. Great bounce off of 270. Whatever, NVIDIA. Appreciate you. You know what NVIDIA reminds me of? It reminds me of your ex-girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, where like you dump them and then they get hotter. It's like, cool, you left me. Now watch me make other people money on their calls. That's what it reminds me of.
Bounce continues here.
All right, guys, I'll give another one. If you want to look for a VWAP bounce trade, maybe PayPal off the 188 level. Don't mind that one. It's looking interesting there. It just got above VWAP. I would look for a pullback towards that 188, maybe getting by 188.65 or 50s, looking for that extension back towards 191.48. It's not a bad looking trade there. Nice little setup after the fake out of the down move that you got. Lucid really catching a bid too. I would maybe look for a short past 36.16, but I'm not looking to add this right now at VWAP. Why? Because you're getting an overall big push in the market. Look at the Qs, look at the SPY. Yeah. Nice push back on up, right? You don't want to be shorting when that's happening because that's how you easily just get a squeeze out. So definitely be careful out there, guys.
Sorry, Mitch.
No, go ahead. I know. I just caught the chat there. I'm just trying to go through what the chat is calling out. GM, another one. Yeah, that looks good for the upside, really. I like these kind of charts where it has like this nice little sideways action right off the bottom, and then you eventually get back above VWAP. We've talked about this, but you need to claim it. What I mean by claiming it is that you don't get a single cent underneath it after it. So this is exactly what you're seeing here, where it comes down right to it. The VWAP is at 62.58. Where does the price go to? 62.57 really quickly, right above it, close above it. You can get wicks there, but you need to have always closes above the VWAP to show you that it's holding the strength. I actually do like that GM. It's not a bad looking trade there. Let's take a Ford. Ford, very simple. It still hasn't gone back above VWAP. I would say maybe this could get to VWAP, but I wouldn't be trying to trade that one to the upside right now. I still think that's pulling back a little bit.
Roy is saying I donated all of the November gains. This is exactly what I was trying to avoid. This is exactly why I'm being disciplined. And this is exactly why I'm not acting like a gunslinger right now, because I don't want to donate any of the gains that I had last year. Now, what I will say, Roy, is you're in here all the time. You got a really sharp eye. You're going to be able to get those back. I have full confidence in you, and as I'm sure the rest of the group does.
And go back and take a look, because if you lost your November gains, if you lost your monthly gains in a day, that's brutal. Just take a look back and see if you're sizing in too much. And Will, I'm looking at it right here. I've got 10-minute VWAP at 10.52. If it comes back and tests it, I will go ahead and grab like the smallest amount there could be in terms of contracts, maybe like the 10.30 puts or whatever. And the above it would be risk off. But I'm taking a look at it with you, Will. I appreciate you giving me a nudge so I can come back to discipline. Hopefully tomorrow will be a better day. And yes, Quantum, I know NVIDIA is moving higher. There's a reason I'm not looking at it. Stop it. I'll take a look at it now, though. Hold on.
Yeah, Tesla. I called
it's at 280. I can't.
Luke's a comedian.
I can't.
Yeah, I mean that's what I mean when you go buy in Hood and Coin. What do you expect, man? I mean,
oh my goodness,
you got to be able to take some pain.
This is
Roy, thank God I'm steadily mining Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Dogecoin, $1,000 a month. Me too, man. Thankfully, I'm still mining Bitcoin. That makes me feel pretty good about it.
Oh boy,
man, we're having some fun.
Someone asking, can we give some reading the tape lessons? Yeah.
Do you have anything on level 2?
I have done it. I've done a video before. It was on when I was back with beginner trading, but I'll look up that video and probably make a new one for us.
So I got to know, Zunaid, if we take out 282 on NVIDIA, are you going to long YOLO
that? Dude. No, because here's why. Because remember I said I have the calls that I bought yesterday because I had a spread, right? So I still have that spread on. But bro, like what? I'm telling you, this is like your ex-partner that you thought was just not built for your future that ends up being like the Queen of England at the end. Like this is just
what?
Like I don't even know, bro. I don't know. I don't even know.
Zunaid, even if the market does not like you, we do. I second that, Ron. We love Zunaid here. Let's.
Well, if you're going to do anything, please go ahead and like the YouTube channel. Even though likes won't pay my bills. Well, I'll take it, though.
The likes put the lights on?
Oh, man. I will say this, getting back to a little bit of seriousness. It is very easy to have this type of action kind of sway you from like holding on to some positions because it's like, oh, I saw NVIDIA come back up last time. It's going to come back up this time as well. That's where you get that hopium. that I think Elite Trading was talking about. Look, I laugh about this because it is what it is. It's part of trading. It's stop losses. It's fine.
This is a good reason why
man.
I watch change from the open versus the change on the sector. Why? Because moments like this, we saw technology at the very beginning lead, right? It got up to like about a 0.4 on the upside. Then it went to a 0.4 on the downside. Now we're back to a 0.4 on the upside. What does that show you? That volatility that we're literally seeing on all of the charts. And so this is why I always like to look at that change at the open, to look at that swing of momentum, because you can catch when it comes from the negative to the positive and catch those reversals.
Oh boy.
Real quick, I put up a comment here from Richard is asking, heck yeah, please speak about tape reading, level 2 and time and sales. And Mitch, I know you and I have both talked about level 2 and time and sales a little bit, and I think we can probably just recap that here real quick. If anyone has a trade that you want to talk about real quick, please just interrupt. I'm going to go ahead and start here with tape reading. When I read the tape, this is actually exactly what I'm looking at. I'm looking at level 2, and I'm looking at the size of those orders that are going through, and the size of those orders, compared to the size of the company, right? 1,000 share order on a 10 million float micro cap or small cap is different than 1,000 share order on a stock like Apple. So always keep that in mind. That'd be rule number 1. But as far as the level 2 goes, you can often find out where different levels are going to be stacked, whether it's support or resistance. There's a huge ask in there in stocks trading to the upside. So what I like to do is I like to see how often it actually attacks that ask. Now, in the case of today, we were playing things to the downside. Mitch was doing it live here when we're actually reading the tape, and it was on the Lucid to the downside. And it was, let me get the actual level here. Let me pull it up on my chart. Because I marked it off here on my chart. The level right around 34.50, right? There was a huge, but Mitch, how big was that? 100,000, 150,000 share order on the level 2 on the bid?
It shows 1,000 on the level 2. Mm-hmm. But what does that equal up, guys? Is always remember, anything that shows on the level 2, what does that really mean? It's in multiples of 100. You can adjust your level 2 to actually show you the actual share size. But a lot of times that's going to show you that, hey, big order alert, big order alert. One thing that I always say about the level 2 is also what you need to do is see if that order shows up on level 2 and also flows through on the time and sales. Sometimes you can see an order show up on the level 2, but you're not seeing it flow through on the time and sales. That could be kind of what we call, it's not really a fake order, but it's an order that the person that's putting it out there doesn't expect to fill completely. They're trying to shake the level 2 there. That's what we saw when that 1,000 order showed up on the bid. It actually, for a second there, it was looking like it was going to flush through. And when that 1,000 orders showed up, it said, whoa. There's some supply. Where's the demand? They looked at the offer. What was going on? Was someone going to take it? No? Okay, boom. You're throwing that supply right back on there. And then it went through that level. So the big thing about
Mitch, real quick, it was actually on the third attempt that it went through that level. And on the second attempt, you saw that 1,000 climb to 1,500.
Mm-hmm.
So
all right, guys, I'm looking at Baba for potential long trade. Why am I looking at this for long trade? Because I saw Baidu get a nice big candle pop here. This was a 70,000 shares that went through on 1 minute. I'm looking for this. This is on the upside, right? I don't want to trade this one because it's on the breakout. I want to trade one that's a laggard that trades with it, which would be Baba for me, and seeing it get back above VWAP, hold here, and then try to push towards 128. Just putting that one out. Let's go back to level 2 talk. So Ryan, one of the things about level 2 is important is that what we see on the level 2 are active orders, right? Not filled orders. It just means active. It means that they're being put into out there. And what does that mean? Is that everybody can see it. That's really what it's about. So when we're talking level 2, a lot of it has to just do with trying to understand the supply and the demand side of trading. This is why you see kind of people even make services like market structure, because at the end, market structure edge, where it's all about supply and demand. that a lot of this is trying to read how the buy and the sells are going on. One thing that you can use to measure this also is look at the put and the call ratio. I know you guys being options traders, Ryan, Zunaid, do you ever take a look at that?
Absolutely.
Like call and put ratios?
Absolutely. In fact, I tweeted one yesterday on Apple when the call buying was like 67% to the buy side. So absolutely, that's a great indicator to look at. And your broker should be able to give that to you. I know Thinkorswim does.
Yeah, Thinkorswim does.
It does for both of you guys, doesn't it?
I personally use Thinkorswim just to kind of get that type of information. And I'll give you a good example of it. I'm glad you said it's an indicator. It's not a signal, right? The reason I say that is because when I went long on NVIDIA, it was because people were buying the 280s and the 300 calls. So it gave me a little bit more confidence, right? Unfortunately, it didn't work out. Clearly, they were smart and they stayed. So yes, like Ryan said, it's an indicator. It is not a signal. Oh,
John, you could be my child. It's okay. I'll adopt you. I know you're a little older, but I'll adopt you. He said that I was treating everyone like a child. I'm trying to teach here, man. There's certain people at different levels.
Why did you randomly say John should be your child? Like, what is happening right now? This show is just taking all types of turns today.
Like I said, I'll adopt John if he wants to be adopted. So let me know. All right, let's go ahead. Let's see if Baba can get back above this 126. All right, let's take a look also at the SPY. What are we doing? We got back above the VWAP, and now we're kind of what? Sideways action from the open. Really, I mean, if you look at it, I mean, we've kind of really gone nowhere in the SPY now. And so that's what I think we're in. We're kind of like in this in-between stage now of where the bulls and bears probably neither have control right now. We're looking to see the continued momentum, see what happens here. I will say that the SPY is building a nice hourly support near 467. So I wouldn't want to see that break on the downside again, because then I'd look for shorts again. But for right now, it looks like we are starting to try to push towards the resistance of 470.90. We'll see if we can get back up there on the SPY. Yeah, some people like to get taught, 100%, and some people, I guess, get mad. I mean, I can't do it all. Can't teach everybody.
800 people watching this. Oh my God.
We're having fun. People like to have fun.
Yeah,
I think this might. Do you know what we peaked at? I feel like 830 might be the most that we've ever had. I could be wrong, but you usually.
We got more. We've hit 900s. We've hit 900s. We're trying to actually get into 900s. So you guys do us the favor. Do me a favor right now, guys. Hit that like button, like on up. Let's see if we can get to 400 likes today. Over 800 people. If you guys support us, we'll definitely support you. Keep coming on here 100% for free and give you all that we know. So let's go ahead. Let's keep on going, guys. Let's see what's going on in the market and see if you guys got a stock that's moving right now, you feel is tradable, throw it in the chat, because right now I'm kind of more hands off. Even I've had a good day. I don't want to just go ahead and ruin this right now, because I feel like a lot of in between right now. I don't feel like any one way is pointing to, let's say, upside or downside.
Duke the Fool says, I'll say it's nice to hear people laughing in all of this instead of being on my own and just stressing. That's exactly what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to provide a community where you don't have to stress. There's going to be education, there's going to be laughs, and hopefully that will keep you more mentally even keel so that you can go through your trading day and be successful. That's the goal here.
All right, someone calling out a couple stocks, so I'll start rolling through some of the stocks that you guys are calling out. If you guys see anything moving, let us know. All right. So if A and B turned back down, so let's see this one, if it's going to be able to hold the VWAP. That's the important price point. I would say 134.32s. Looks like I have a support there drawn. You can see it from the pre-market, how is down towards that level. We broke it once on that down move. I wouldn't want to see that break on this. It definitely needs to hold that, then reclaim VWAP. You can see a wick there right now, but we wouldn't want to see a close below the VWAP here. AMD. NVIDIA, let's go ahead and take a look at that. A couple topping actions near that 280. Definitely that's the price point I would watch for the continued momentum towards the upside. It's pulling back, needs to hold VWAP, but definitely 280s holding up well there. Let's keep going. I'm going to go through the chat. Bought Microsoft yesterday is saying here, Matchley, we'll see if it can keep on going through the 320s. That's kind of the upside level that I'd be looking at. 320s, if it gets to there, I'd be feeling a little bit confident that you could find this bounce in Microsoft. I will say the daily chart's a little scary for me. There is a support right there, but if it breaks down towards 300, I wouldn't want to be in Microsoft myself. Any on these stocks from the chat standing out to you guys? You guys want to talk about any of these?
Yeah, I want to talk about pins here real quick. Lester was saying pins looks attractive. So Lester, I think I see what you're talking about here. Looks like, where's my mouse? There we go. Looks like we pretty much round trip on the last huge move here. Now this is the bottom of the gap. So if we bounce here at 30.75, let's call it 30.75 to maybe 30.50. If we bounce off that area, you might be able to get a trade here. But be warned, because this is one of those stocks that is not cheap, right? So this is a high growth name, not very much value here. I mean, if you look at it, $21 billion market cap versus $630 million of revenue, I mean, that's not cheap. And so if the sell-off continues, or if we reverse again, this thing's going to get hit. If you drop below 30.76, I think it's almost certain that you go to the 27 handle, maybe even the 26 handle. So while it might look attractive for a bounce here, I'm a little skeptical of this if it doesn't hold that level.
All right, guys, I'm going to start setting up a trade here. Not taking it yet, setting it up potentially for a reshort in Lucid. What is the trade? The trade is called a VWAP fake out fade. What is a VWAP fake out fade? I'm going to try to explain it here for us. So a lot of times when we get these big kind of VWAP fades, right? When we get this big action, we'll get a move where it comes back to VWAP and you get these kind of 3 resistance above VWAP tries, and then it fails. Off that third resistance, that's when we start looking to get short, and we're using that resistance as our stop out. So right now you got what, right? A one move above the VWAP, it pushes above, and then it pulls back to the VWAP, right? Then you get another push and you get another resistance. So now that we can do this, we can actually start drawing the resistance here as it's starting to build. We want to see a touch here, go up to 35.30, then really quickly reject down towards, let's say, 35s. That's when I can start getting short, and I'd short off of that 35.30. I don't want to get short when it gets there because it could just squeeze above it because it's a third resistance. So you're looking for a rejection first, then I'll go ahead and knock it down. All right. Looks like Tesla's coming back. Could maybe that be potentially a short there?
Yeah, I went ahead and typed to Will. Nice Tesla. Yeah, went ahead and was like, yo, Tesla puts. It was a quick scalp for me because, and I love the viewers here today, and I'm all the time, matter of fact, because Will told me, yo, stop being revenge trading, take a look at Teslas. And when he mentioned the 1050 level, I looked at it and someone else told me that I should scalp. So I got a chance to scalp Tesla here, but it hasn't been able, if you're looking at my chart, it hasn't been able to get over that EMA and close on the 10-minute candle, which is key for me. So it's still battling around this area, but if it does close above 1060 on a 10-minute, to me, that's bullish. You can grab some out of the money calls and head your way to the upside, but I'm not holding anything more than 2 minutes, and I can make a lot of jokes, but we've already gotten way past that time. So,
all right, guys, I will let you guys know towards 11, we'll have Gianni joining us from the Breakout Trading newsletter. If you guys don't know, we do have a breakout newsletter. So stick around, guys. We got another trader that'll be joining us, giving them their perspective. So definitely smash the thumbs on up. We're going to keep growing here. And you guys out there, don't feel like you can never come on the show. If you guys, for any reason, have a great trade, or maybe it's a really bad trade and you just want to talk about it, definitely go ahead and hit us up. We'll definitely bring you on here, video, audio, whatever you may need, but don't feel like you can't come on the show either.
And real quick, let me, if you can pull up my screen here real quick. We had talked about the bounce that was happening in the SPY. It looks like it really kind of slowed down here. This is one of the things that I look at here.
This is looking good here, guys.
I'm sorry?
No, I'm just calling. Baba's looking good here. I'll let you guys know if I get in. You keep doing your thing, Ron.
The SPY here, what I want to see on bounces is I don't want to see a lower high, just like we're seeing here, right? So it's great that we bounced. It was really rough when we're selling off here, and it's great that we bounced, but we really didn't attack this high. And it's not just SPY. If you take a look at some of the other stocks that we were watching this morning, like AMD, you got the same type of behavior right here. Let's take a look at Apple. Same type of behavior where we're making a lower high. So although we're bouncing, that's great. In order for us to change the sentiment on the day, we really want to see some of these prices take out the previous highs, and we have not seen that yet today. Go ahead, Mitch. Sorry about that.
Oh, no, I'm just watching the Baba move. It's a nice move on the upside here. We were talking about how I saw that push in a volume in Baidu, and that's why I was going to look for maybe a laggard play coming into Baba. You could see here what happens. Look how the volume just picks up. This is what I mean by lag, right? So a stock that is somewhat, you see what a leader in the industry, you look for a big volume spike, and then you're looking for a re-spike in the laggard. That's exactly what you get here. And why does that happen? A lot of the times it's going to be because of what people looking at the rotation and trying to trade hand in hand. Look how Baidu is starting to take out the highs. What's happening there?
That's what I was looking for, Mitch. That's exactly what I was just talking about. Draw a line from the top of that first high.
Yep. Boom.
Now we're above it.
Now we're above it.
Now we're above it. We're not seeing that on some of the other names yet. That's what we want to see. Awesome that you pulled that up. Great time.
Yep. So Chinese stocks, I would definitely take a look at. JD,
take a look at KWeb. Take a look at KWeb while you're doing that.
KWeb. Yeah, if you want the ETF, I like that move right now. It just got above VWAP, right? We talked about this. Once we get above VWAP, we want to see it really claim it. So I'd look for a pullback, maybe 3460s, 3450s. But that gives you a really good risk to return, and it gives you a good upside potential here. So JD is another one I would look for, a nice little push on up. See if we get the push towards 66. Look how this one went above VWAP. And what does it do? Comes right back to it, holds it, then starts going on the upside. So, yeah, if you want to look for some names out there, maybe some Chinese names doing well right now, specialty retail, Baidu, Baba, JD are some that I'd take a look at. Look at Baba continuing here. We'll see if this can continue pushing up towards all the way up towards 128. That's where I would see it run into some resistance.
We talked about VWAP, and you mentioned it on the fade side. If you go ahead and pull up my chart here, if you want to pull it up yourself on the 5-minute on NVIDIA, you can see that it bounced off of the VWAP right there as well. So VWAP is going to be a great way to kind of figure out your risk reward, whether you want to go long or short. A trade. VWAP is always going to be a great way to do that.
Sandra shouting PDD. That's another one. This is actually one of the names that I like, but that has very similar to Baidu. Really took out that high.
All right. High, excuse me. Another thing that you're getting in NVIDIA is now an inverse head and shoulders look, where you got the neckline up here towards 281. That should be a breakout point where you should see some volume come in and a volume spike come with it. So I'll show you guys exactly what I'm looking at right now. So you see how this right here is the shoulder line. The shoulder line touches to that 278. This is the head down here, that downside action. Then you got the neckline, which is above it here around the 281s. So you're looking for it to get above that 281. One of the key things that you'd be looking for is, like we talk about, potentially that pattern to fulfill and momentum to come into the name. You've seen the volume, decline in all this. You'd want to see a nice little spike on up there, let's say past the 300,000, giving you that look that, yeah, that's a nice, people are trading off of it. Bulls taking control through that 281. All right, looking at that Lucid, remember how I talked about how the 30 rejection, right? So look how you come to that resistance, and what do? You pass it. That's why I don't like going short till it rejects from that level versus going short at that level. I would have got an instant stop out. I would have got in and stopped out. And that's no fun, guys. So I've been looking for more of that confirmation. The closes is what's important to me more than just the opening price action.
That's how you can stop yourself from getting whipsawed too. If you're waiting for even if it's intraday, if you're waiting for candle closes on specific time frames, like 15-minute, Mitch, you often talk about the hour, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're waiting for those candles to close in the hour, that's one way that you can stop yourself from getting faked out. I'm someone that loves to watch the 1-minute chart all the time. The problem with that is that it's so back and forth that if I don't step out to some other time frames and take a look at what's going on in a larger picture, I may be more susceptible to a fake out. That's one of the reasons why I'm watching this bounce here, because I don't want to be faked out by a bounce that makes you feel good for 5 minutes only to reverse in your face and have you donate some more money.
There's nothing wrong with doing something that makes you feel good for 5 minutes, Ryan.
I'm trying to be serious, Zunaid.
I'm losing money. I need to cheer myself up. I am looking at a Tesla long here. That I'm looking at the 1100 calls, simply because it's a VWAP. I'm gonna go ahead and grab literally just gonna grab one, and then my stop loss will be below 1040. So I'm risking about $15. I'm hoping for it to test this red to green line, which was a session high. So that's the risk reward I'm going with.
All right, it's getting towards that time. We're almost towards 11, guys.
Oh,
if you guys
boy.
want us to keep on going, definitely smash up that like button. Let's see where we're at on the like game. I want to see what we're at right now. Let's go ahead. Let me take a look here. We're at 326, guys. We need to get to 400 to keep going past 11. We're going to be bringing on some more, another trader here to give you guys perspective like we always like to do. Zunaid and Ryan should be getting on out of here shortly, probably about 8 minutes max. If not, I'm going to kick them out myself. They got a lot of stuff to do, and I can't blame them, though, because this is a fun market, and we're having a great day with you guys here in the market. Whether we win or lose, one thing that you'll probably see us do is smile and enjoy it. And the big thing with that is that Zunaid, Ryan, and I all three of us understand that we're not going to start taking trades to just ruin our mentality, ruin our mental capital here. That's not what it's about. The thing that we're trying to do is keep working on our own process to improve it, to try to make that money, right? I don't think any of us live off of trading, and I will go ahead and state that we're not living off of this, guys. So don't think that we're like, we're not Tim Sykes here. Let's just say that.
We're regular people just like you. And I think that that's one of the allures to this show, right? Anyone can do this. The market doesn't discriminate against anybody. Yeah. You can do it if you put in the work. There are some things that make it more difficult. We're going to try to steer you into this easy sea, if you will, the calm sea, so that your journey is easier to actually take away from and become profitable at the end.
Hey, on my Tesla calls, I'm up 19%. Is the most I've been up today. Booyah.
Love how you're looking at the positive, Zunaid. Love how you're looking at the positive. Here's what I'm going to leave you with. I don't want to get kicked off the show by Mitch, so I'm going to leave voluntarily before we get to that point.
I'm going to take a walk before I got to hop on Squawk.
What I will say here is be patient, right? Be patient, be tactical. Do not rush. Do not try to be a hero. Don't be faked out by some of these bounces. I'm keeping my eye on the VIX, SPY, IWM, and then most importantly, some of those big tech names that we've talked about: AMD, Apple, Tesla, Square, PayPal, the whole lot. So good luck, folks. Stay safe out there, and we'll be back at it tomorrow.
Mitch, before it's all you all alone, I'll say this: learn from our gains, learn from our mistakes as well. I explained to you guys how things went wrong with NVIDIA and all that stuff as well. Don't just follow along blindly, but try to understand the thought process and learn from our losses as well. It's literally free education that someone else is paying for. But Mitch, Ryan, everyone else in the chat, I'm out. See you tomorrow for Volatility Friday.
All right. We'll see you next time, guys. Now it's go ahead. You guys got me. I'll be getting Gianni on in just a short while. He should be getting on near 11 here. But definitely, guys, we're going to keep battling here. Like always, guys, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes you're going to have to press that red button to get on out or maybe go short. So like always, we're taking both sides of the trade here. Believe it or not, and I didn't want to mention this when Zunaid was on because I felt kind of bad, but I might go short Tesla here, guys. We're getting the VWAP fake out fade type of look here where you get the up 1, up 2, up 3. Now we're starting to close back below. We might get short here at Tesla. If I do short, this is only going to be like 5 shares, guys, because I don't have too much. I have to use my margin to get into this. So let's see if we can get a close. What we're going to look for is a close below this 158. So if it cracks here on the downside, 157.79, if it cracks there, that's when we're going to go short here. We're looking for it to break down on the downside here, and then we're looking for take out the trend line here. If I draw this trend line out here, you can see how we've gotten a up 1, down 1, up 2, down 2, up 3. We're going to look for that down 3 to take this out here. 157.79 is where we're going to look for it to break. And then we're going to get in there. It's going to be small sizing if I do nail this down, guys. But looking for a short there on Tesla. Sneaky, sneaky Mitch. You know it. You know it. I didn't want to say it when Zunaid was on, but I'm still looking for this. All right, guys, let's go ahead and let's see what happens out there. Laura, good to see you in the chat. I love to see all the loyals in the chat and people joining us in for the first time. Like John, hey, power to you, man. Like always, man. I appreciate you trying to get us on track. I hope you can handle me just messing with you and just like you mess with me. I mean, that's what it's about. One thing is I won't take it personal. I always have people that are going to disagree with me and agree with me. Just go ahead. Let me know how we can improve. I'm still here, jerk. That's why we'll look for that breakdown through the 1057 to see if we can get it. This is why I didn't want to go short early. I was going to look for the breakdown of that support to see if we were going to get short there on that Tesla. And now look how Tesla just pushes on up. Looks like Zunaid probably took some more sizing. Just joking. I'm probably sure Zunaid's just already out of the trade. But yeah, that's why I looked for the close below that line, and you can see it just bouncing off of that line. Now it's a no touch. Now I stay off of this. I won't even be looking for this. You could look for the upside move, but I don't like to do reversal trades where you're like, I was looking short. Now I'm just going to go long. It just confuses my brain too much. Not good for my personality. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and stop talking here because, I mean, you guys have been hearing Money Mitch all day long. Let's go ahead. Let's bring on my man, the breakout trader, I'm going to call him, just because he has a breakout newsletter. If you guys haven't checked it out, I would definitely tell you guys to take a look. Let's bring on Gianni. You guys have saw him last week. He's going to be a weekly appearance here on Thursdays. So I'll let you take it away, man. What are you seeing out there? and what's going on? Because this market has been one of the most exciting days, I think, for the week. What's going on out there, man?
It's becoming increasingly bifurcated. So, we're seeing stuff like energy do well. We're seeing consumer staples hold up well. Utilities are holding up well. Those are all defensive sectors. And the fact that the NASDAQ never made a new all-time high since November, whereas the Dow and the S&P did, that's a cautionary signal. So you're seeing most of the selling in the market in tech and growth names. And the NASDAQ and tech have a tendency to lead the market higher and lower. So this is a concern. Now the market's expecting the Fed to have their first rate hike in March. So that is going to put some pressure on liquidity, and that opens the door for some wider price moves. We talked about this a little bit last week, but QQQ, that actually ties into one of the first trade ideas I had for today. We have a hammer candlestick developing today, but it's important not to act too soon on that until we get to the close. But the first ticker I was going to talk about today was SQQQ. I actually picked up a short position in the NASDAQ about midday yesterday. We shared that in our chat room, and it's doing okay so far. But again, the main concern that we saw was the formation of a secondary lower high in the Qs and the NASDAQ because like we said, the NASDAQ tends to lead, and a lower high is the first step in the establishment of a downtrend. A downtrend is not something that we've seen in many markets for quite a long time. So a downtrend is characterized by lower lows and lower highs. So if the Qs take out that low from December, then we're in a short-term downtrend, very similar to what we're seeing in Bitcoin and Ethereum and other cryptocurrencies. So, one of the favorite things that I like to use cryptos for, and it's been especially the case since March of 2020, ever since we bottomed, it's been an excellent risk-on, risk-off barometer, so to speak. So so long as we keep seeing weakness in cryptos, I think that could even translate to further weakness in stocks.
So, Gianni, I got to ask, how's the big toe?
Oh, my knee? You talking about when I messed up my knee?
No, not even. They look like the chat is calling you Aaron Rodgers, man. They said the discount auto check. They said discount. Oh, man, I'm going to say
that was over my head. No. Yeah, I do look like Aaron Rodgers.
But just to mention, how is the knee?
2022's ponytail.
How is the knee? Because we need to at least know that. My man's an athlete. How's the knee?
Yeah, no, it's better. I'm back to normal activities finally.
At least,
yeah.
We can't have you walking around, man. You're definitely kind of more of an active guy. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's get into kind of this whole battle between growth and value that we're kind of seeing right now in the market, right? I mean, a lot of times the market kind of leans one way, right? Sometimes, like let's say 2020, we definitely saw what a market lean towards straight growth can look like. And I think 2021 was kind of more the battlegrounds between growth and value. What are you seeing now in 2022 between these growth and value names?
Well, that's I'm glad you bring this up, Mitch, because that trade, that capital flow, so to speak, has really been in effect for the last 10 to 12 years. You've heard the phrase software eating the world. We're coming out of that decade of deflation, really 2 decades of deflation, and a lot of companies took to software to pursue lean management, increase their bottom line from reducing their expenses. Now that we're in a more inflationary environment, reducing your expenses isn't really the way to go about that. You have to increase your revenue. So now that commodity prices are going up, value may finally have its day in the sun. But again, the trend is your friend until the trend ends, and trends tend to go on much longer than most people expect. There's a saying in trading, markets can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent, and betting value over growth has really not been a good trade for the last 10 to 12 years. Now, we haven't seen inflation at as high of levels as we are now in the last 10 years. So that is, providing the macroeconomic environment to start and benefit value. And value has outperformed significantly, thus far this year, but, we're not even, through it the first week yet. So, but that's where we're seeing the strength now. You have your Marathon Oil, your Devon Energy, your Diamondback Energy, MRO, DVN, and FANG. Those are some of the strongest stocks in the market right now. Not really bearing the brunt of this, broader pullback thus far. But, one other thing, when you start to see stocks like these outperform, in other words, do better than the rest of the market, it's a sign that you're in the later stages. We mentioned this last week too, Mitch. We haven't had a 10% drawdown in the S&P since September 2020.
Yeah, I mean, that's the truth, right? I mean, there hasn't been real correction. I think one of the things that was concerning and why we probably didn't see a correction for so long was, right, there was no tapering at first. It was buy. And I think that was causing us to continuing to never having that correction. And so to me, I think part of what happened yesterday in the minutes is not only necessarily, okay, we give you some new information. Yeah, we could possibly be selling bonds, but I think it was the Fed trying to preempt the market a little bit, trying to price in a little bit of those interest rate hikes a little bit earlier, so that by the time we actually get towards that day when we actually increase the interest rates, I could potentially see the market even going up on that news because we price it in a little bit earlier. What do you think about that outlook?
Well, it's buy the rumor, sell the news. Rising interest rates historically are bullish for stocks. There's a bit of a misconception around that, but if you actually look at the data, rising rates is bullish initially, usually for the first 6 to 18 months of the tightening cycle. You can look at the last time we had a tightening cycle that was in between like 2015 and 2018. Stocks did very well during that time, but you'll look back, there was greater volatility, and then 6 to 12 month periods where stocks didn't really do much. And if you look, stocks have pretty much gone straight up since March 2020's low. We are due for a period of, a sideways market or wider volatility, where, if stocks drop, 10 to 20% at some point this year, and then, stage a 20%, 25% rally off that low, historically stocks have returned on an annual basis between 7 to 10%. So you see the last 2 years, we've been well above that. So if you look at, the longer term picture, I don't know that we're really set for a year of high double digit returns this year. Now, that's just an opinion, and it's still really early in the year. We just finished the Santa Claus rally on Tuesday, and we had a positive return. That's a good sign. That tends to work, 70, 80% of the time as a forecaster for the year. So I think one of the things that I've noticed is, the last 2 years have been so good. People have these lofty expectations and performing the same way again. And markets are cyclical. It doesn't work that way. You have to play the hand that you're dealt. And if we're not being played the hand of, high momentum, high flying growth names, well, we need to adjust accordingly. We have to look at value. We have to look at the sectors that haven't been doing as well, like energy. So Yeah, I think we're in for a bit of a reckoning, but the trend is still very much up. I don't think it's a crash scenario. I think it's a correction and basically a deleveraging, because there's been a lot of leverage in this market too.
Yeah, so what Gianni's talking about here, I'll kind of point it out on the SPY, and you can see, that uptrend that we've had. But we've had periods like this, 2018 to around the 2020s, sideways action, right? And you can go back a little bit further, 2015 towards around 2017, sideways action.
Yep.
The real question I think that some people are asking ourselves, is this more the 2000s? Is this just a slow leak out coming on down, or is it that sideways consolidation year? And I think no one really knows the answer 100% to that, but these are what it can kind of be looking like. One of the things that I'd point out is every time that we've had massive expansions, and you can see here this 94 to 95 to all the way to 2000 was a huge run up, right? Every time we've had those, we've either gone to consolidation or we've done this, which is the pullback, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this one was kind of more like a 50% pullback off of that big move. And now you can see, this looks like a big move to me, right? And so the question here comes, do we consolidate up here at the top of the price point, or do we kind of retrace 50% of this whole move, which would be a really bad kind of bear type of market here for 2022?
Well, I'm going to play both sides of that thought, because you said, no one really knows.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at tech valuations relative to the rest of the market, it would seem that we are in more of a 1999-2000 environment. However, the 2008-2009 crash was, on a percentage basis, more of a once-in-a-generation type of event. So that being said, if 2008-2009 was that crash, that once-in-a-generation crash, I would bet with the consolidation outcome versus, a 2000-2001 dot-com bubble explosion. But, unlike those two periods of time, inflation is much higher now. So, we had that inflationary run before the 2008-2009 crash. And if you actually look at the price of crude oil, I believe stocks topped out in October 2007. But the price of crude oil rallied into, I think it was March 2009, if I remember correctly. I may be a little bit off on the top there, but so that kind of speaks to the value versus growth trade. There still will be opportunities, but what's worked in the last 2 to 3 years very easily may not be the case. What was that right on that high?
You were right, my friend.
Yeah, March 2009. So there you go. Stocks topped out, and then you had stocks like Marathon Oil. Gold did well during that time as well. But a lot of the tech names topped out like a year and a half before. And you look at stocks like Apple and Tesla and Amazon. These have been the big leaders, absolutely absorbing in all that institutional money, via QQQ and these ARK funds. Are they due for a period of consolidation? And if so, that would create an environment where value does outperform growth.
Yep. And you could see it here on the chart of Apple, that extension. It was 98 up to 2000. Then we got that big pullback. Even the strong stocks pulled back, right?
Yeah.
And so this is the concerning part. Is it everything pulling back, or is it just some pulling back? This is why a lot of what I've been paying attention to is the market breadth and how many stocks are under the SMA 200, how many are above the 200-day. So I'll point out this. Can you at least let's maybe get out of the bearish kind of game here. Let's look at a little bit to the upside. Where do you see some strength right now, Gianni? And is there any tickers that are standing out to you?
Yeah, one stock I was looking at this morning was Travelers Insurance, TRV ticker symbol. This is a Dow 30 company. If we zoom out a little bit, you see how it's consolidating near the highs. This is an insurance company, and look at that. Look at the size of that base. I mean, this has been a multi-month or multi-year rather trading base. And so, I think that if we do see interest rates continue to rise off the back of inflationary pressures, we'll see, stocks like this, Travelers, which is categorized into value because it's a financial company. Higher rates tends to be a better environment for insurance companies. So, this is one of the stocks that I noticed today that was displaying much better relative strength compared to its peers in the Dow.
Interesting. You mentioned this when we were talking about financial services today. We pointed out insurance is a little bit of strength there. A lot of times, you sometimes don't know the names, right? We know insurances, right? But we just probably don't know the stocks. Here's a good one here, TRV. Do like the chart. Kind of agree with you, Gianni. I'm gonna keep this one on watch. So much that we'll set an alert here at 163.80s to let us know for that alert for the breakout through the 164s, and we'll let you guys know on live trading when the TRV gets through that level. What's another one? You have one more maybe for us?
Yeah, I want to revisit a stock that we looked at last week.
Let's do that.
RFP, that Resolute Forest products.
Nice. Yeah, I remember you mentioned this one.
Yeah. It's holding up pretty well in the face of, some market weakness. We talked about the price of lumber last week, how, from that high that formed in early 2021 to the low in mid 2021, I think we bottomed out in August. We dropped 75%, but now we're up like over 100% off that August low. And again, I think this ties into the whole inflationary environment. And these are stocks that, the stock is a multi-month base and it's consolidating near the highs in the midst of a weak index tape. And that's relative strength. So one of the key factors that we use in our analysis is that when stocks are down, we look for the stocks that are down the least, because those tend to be the ones that lead on the way back up once stocks eventually bottom. And this one is fitting that description pretty well.
Yeah, exactly. One of the things that we talk about in Market Breadth is what stocks lead us on the upside, but also it's as important at what stocks lead us on the downside. This is the clear stock that is not leading on the downside. And one thing that I'd point out, at least from my analysis, is above 200, right? We're looking for those stocks that are above 200. Those we can trade to the upside right now, especially in a dangerous environment when you're looking at potentially market corrections. I want to be trading the strong names. I don't want to be trading weak names to the upside. And so this is definitely one to keep on the radar. RFP, paper product. And so you're talking kind of lumber. And I've been talking about if we're looking at trades, it's in the hard assets right now. I think if there's anything the Fed indicated more was that inflation would probably be persistent. And that's why they're trying to do whatever needed to kind of cut the inflation. And I think that's really what they're noticing. With that being mentioned, I called out some steel plays, Cliff, U.S. Steel. I don't know if you like these, Gianni, but just definitely wanted to mention those. I don't know how you're feeling about steel. I called out another one, BTU. I don't know how you feel. How do you think about
Peabody?
Yeah, coal play. I've never played these coal plays, but it seems interesting. This chart to me, a nice sideways consolidation between this period. I think if we could get back above 1250, maybe we could get back towards these highs. Who knows? What do you think? What are you looking at this chart? Maybe we'll do a little live analysis here.
Yeah, no, I generally agree with that outlook. That was a really hot stock in 2021, one of the top performing small caps, as a matter of fact. And again, basic materials, that is a hedge against inflation. And yeah, you nailed those that trading range pretty well. If we can stay above that upper horizontal trend line, then a run back to those highs is fair game. But if we start to break below that lower horizontal trend line as well, then I think it's a different story, and it's probably best to look for opportunities elsewhere. But for now, we're holding above there, and here, same thing. It's holding its gains amidst a weak market tape. So relative strength again. That's where the market is holding up. So if we do see a 10% pullback in Q1 here, I would look for stocks like this to lead out of that low going into the rest of the year.
Definitely. It's like a reason why I am super bearish PayPal, but at the same time, the price action here is starting to get me a little bit more to being like, okay, well, I mean, everything else is tanking, but if you want to go hold sideways multiple days, weeks at a time, those are the ones that I'd be looking for when we get that reversal back to the upside for that nice push on back. What do you think about this PayPal?
PayPal's a weird company. I never know whether to classify that as a tech company or a financial services company. So
it's a hard one.
Yeah, it is. I mean, they really were cutting edge in terms of the whole movement towards electronic payments and stuff. And when I look at the chart, if we zoom out a little bit, it's trading like a tech stock today. That is my concern. And we had that massive breakdown from that inverted saucer pattern, and now we're essentially consolidating those losses. So I'm not as optimistic on PayPal as I was about BTU, which you just showed me, because I think its relationship to tech is a bit of a concern. It was kind of like a lot of these growth funds way to get exposure and diversify into financials without buying the traditional banks. It was to do PayPal. So it was a high flying momentum name, and those have really suffered in the last quarter or so, with like you pointed out earlier, so many stocks market breadth being below the 200-day moving average. Now this one still is too. So yeah, it's a little bit of a different technical setup, not one that I would be rushing to buy. But if we do start to break above that upper horizontal trend line, that could create a case of a higher low, which would be the first step in the establishment of a new uptrend. But what I'm a little cautious of is, where would that forthcoming high come in, and then how would we react on the ensuing pullback? If we form a higher low off that higher high, then okay, great. But if we stall out at that resistance level around like 250 or so you got there, if we stall out there and then start to slam back down lower and break below that low in that 180 area, then I think there's still more pain on the horizon.
Well, there you guys have it. We tried to cover a vast amount of topics, not only what happened in the Fed, but what are we looking at, even a live look at two stocks, guys. So do us the favor, smash that thumbs up, and definitely go ahead. And Gianni, where could they find you if they want to go ahead and learn more about your analysis and your perspective?
Benzinga breakouts, we talked about it earlier. We have that chat room as well. That is, where we called that live short signal on the Qs yesterday. We bought QQQ or SQQQ midday, and it basically enables us to act quicker and get live updates on what we're seeing in the market right now. So yeah, Benzinga breakouts. It's under Benzinga Premium. So go to the website and go under Premium, and that's where you'll find us.
Yep, I'll go ahead and I'll throw that link up in the chat. You guys can go ahead and check that out if you guys want to go ahead and do so. Like always, Gianni, we'll have you back next week on at 11 a.m. You guys stay tuned. This is going to be a weekly segment. Appreciate you coming on and giving me your perspective. I'll keep an eye out on that lumber one.
Yeah.
You guys, if you didn't write it down, you might want to rewind and check that one out. But I appreciate you coming on, Gianni.
Pleasure as always, Mitch. Have a good day.
Always. Have a good one, man.
Later.
All right, guys, let's go ahead. We're going to wrap on up here in a couple seconds. We got about 10 minutes, so we can do a little bit of stocks from the chat also if you want to throw that up. I want to just take a look at what happened today, right? Or what stocks moved, what didn't, what was hot, what was not. That's what I usually do on Money Mitch, and let's go ahead and let's do that right here. So we usually are taking a look here at our PayPal, see what happened. But let's take a look at what sectors moved up and what didn't. So technology now is actually up a significant amount from the open. It's about 1.12% from the open. Why is this important to me? Because we watched this go actually towards the bottom, which was actually down in the red for a little while, now coming back. So technology is finding a bounce here. Some of those names you can definitely keep a watch on, and we'll see if it can keep moving on up. Google in the green today. Some of the bigger names, Facebook up 4%, FICO up 4%, PanW. This is a software. This is cybersecurity. Look at this one's bouncing back too. So definitely you're seeing some strength there. Adobe bouncing back today. Not a bad day. Tesla is starting to reject here from the resistance level that I was looking at for it to hold. Let's take a look here. Was looking to see if this 1080 was going to hold as resistance and reject off of that level. I'm going to leave this one alone, but definitely Tesla's kind of still in a little bit of a chop compared to, let's say, the other charts. Let me look at Apple. Apple was one I definitely wanted to take a look at because it's been a market leader. Now it's starting to pull back. If it breaks 169 on the downside, I'd be concerned. It definitely is pulling back a little bit today. Let's take a look at energy. Energy up 0.54 from the open. Some of these plays that you guys can take a look at. Let's take a look here. What do we see moving on the upside? LPI is one I'll call out. This looks like a good top here. Daily high has 77. If it gets through there, it could keep going on toward the upside move. You got VET looking interesting, pushed from the 13 up there towards 1350. I would look for pullbacks to 13 to hold, but not a bad one there. PBF, another one that you can take a look at. Mining play trying to take out the trend line here. We'll see if it can take out that trend line. It came right to it today. We'll see if it can get back on up here towards 16 and then just start pushing on up. That's PBF. Oil gas marketing plays today. Also, I called out Duke. I'm looking to continue on the upside, and POR. We'll see if those can continue moving on up. Let's look at what's trading on up here. Consumer cyclicals up 0.42. So what is doing well there? We pointed out early on resorts and casinos having a good move. MGM was a stock that I brought up really early in the day. I was seeing it have a good move, and look how this one continued. It found that bid, pushed back up there, now almost to the high of the day, 44.60s. We'll see if it gets through that high and continues making its move back up. LVS was another one that we talked about. This one's been doing well today too. So the resorts and casinos doing well. Wynn was another one that we gave. Now pushing back, trying to get through the high of 86. All right, let's go ahead. Let's keep going through. What other ones do we see moving out there? I see specialty retail. Some of those making moves on up. Stitch Fix with a strong reversal today. Look at the hourly move, 3 hours straight up. It's going to run into some resistance near 20 or 20.50, but we'll see if this can make a reversal. Kirk coming back there. Special retailer coming on back. We'll see if it tries to fill this gap on up. This is not a bad gap if it could fill this gap. We'll see if it can get on up there and start taking out this gap, which is around 17 up there towards 20. Triple BY, let's see what it's doing it now. And at the gates, it went down, right down towards an hourly support. I could see here. I don't even need to look. I know it's going to be that hourly support near that 1412 coming on back. It could rip on up here. So we could take a look at this one once it gets through the VWAP. So I would be paying attention to Triple BY. Even though I don't like the stock, doesn't mean I can't trade it, at least on a day trade. So we'll see if this one can really start popping. It needs to get back above 1475. Then you'll see a squeeze through that 15. That's the level that I'd be looking to join in on the party and ride it back up there towards 1550 and 16. We'll see if it gets back up there. All right, so another one that we called out early on in the day were the Chinese stocks. We said, hey, guys, I'm seeing these really start to get a trend, and that was all because of the Baidu volume that I saw just start spiking. This was the candle here, guys. I called it out right here at around 10:30. I said, hold up, this candle is standing out to me. I think some people are going to start jumping onto some of these China trades, and then we can see from that point around 10:30, we've had a great day here for Baba. Around 10:30, you can see right here. Now we're starting to get back on up there towards 128 was the outlook that we gave. JD was another one. Same thing that we said around the 10:30. We see it. If this can hold, take out the highs. Now you're up there towards 67.25. And you could also be trading that PDD, which did the same thing. Look at the 10:30. And look how it reacted at that level, broke through the resistance, and then really just started taking out some highs. Nice little move there, PDD. All right, guys, let's go ahead and I'll catch up with the chat. What's going on? Easy Mike, Kevin out there, Hertz, Voodoo, SA. It's good to have all you guys in here with us. If you guys got a stock to take a look at, throw it in the chat. Pan W pushing all morning, said Hertz. Yes, definitely. Pan W makes firewalls also, says Greg. Yeah, I would pay attention to that. Citi is flying. Let's take a look at Citigroup. All right, let's take a look here. Oh, there you go. Banks caught the bid there, guys. Tesla catching a downside action now. Just be careful. I do like that rejection there from the 1170s. We wanted to get through this 1062 price point and then really quickly go to 1057, but I'm not going to trade this one. I do like that it broke that trend line though. If you were going to try to trade it, I think you go and use the resistance of that 1070 price point and you look for that move back down. At least that's what I'm seeing here. All right. Catching up with the chat. Margin calls and credit can twist the bank sideways on up. Went long dollar on strength. Hey, not a bad one. Guys, look at the finance companies before. Look at a company's finances before investing. What do you want to look at, Iron? What would you point out? If you looked at the financials, what would you point out? China will try to moderate its stocks before the Olympics. Yeah, that could happen, Roy. I did see Spencer mention that today. I think it could happen. Easy. Remember our VR? I got you, man. Today we don't have Money Mitch, but what I'm going to do is tomorrow on Money Mitch Friday, we'll talk a little bit about some VR stocks, about some metaverse. I might even have a friend that has an Oculus kind of join in. We'll see what happens. I need to get an Oculus. The main thing with the Oculus is that I need to build a new PC. My PC is not bad right now, but I want to update it before I go into VR. There's Tesla trying to break down there. I do like that trade there, but I'm not going to take it, guys. I've had already a great day in Lucid. Lucid rejected from that 36.16s. We were going to look for that 35.30 to break down. I could short here off of the 36.16 for Lucid and try to nail it all the way back down. But for me right now, I'm just kind of holding off, trying to watch these trades and kind of go over it here with you guys. All right, thoughts on Palantir. Palantir needs to really kind of change the daily look. It really broke there on the daily, and that's not a good look, guys. We can see here it was building up at 18, and then it cracked down until it recovers 18. I don't like this trade. I think it could keep coming back down. Next level after this is 14, 12s, 10, and that's what I was concerned in SoFi. If you guys remember me talking about SoFi, and for you guys that are longer term SoFi traders, I've been worried about this SoFi really taking out 13s, and if it takes out 13, I think it could get below 10. And then next thing you know, you could get caught with a bag in SoFi. So just be careful out there. I know a lot of people like this one. You want to see it definitely hold this 1350 and not break through 13. Sell me your old one, Hertz. I got you. When I'm done with it, if I don't use it, I'll sell it. I'll sell it to you for cheap. I mean, it has a nice i7. It was about 1,300 when I built it, but I built that 3 years ago. So there's some new AMD processes that I'd like to use. I used an i7 and Intel one. I'm done with Intel. Honda being called out by John Lamb. John, try not to put the stock up plenty of times. I mean, I'll take a look at your stock. All you got to do is mention it. You don't need to put it up 30 times. Let's take a look here. Can this take out the 2970s? It keeps coming up there and kind of failing up above this 2964. You want to see it get back on up there and really push through. You got in one up, one down, two up, two down, three up, three down. Needs to hold his 2940s on pullback and get right back through the 2970. And then we'll see if it can get to 30. I would give this one about $1 or $2 on the breakout. So you're talking about maybe up there towards 30.64 or maybe even 31.64, but it doesn't have too much momentum. And auto manufacturers are struggling right now, but definitely Honda not looking bad there. I know Toyota wasn't looking bad either. Only way to get a video card is to buy a pre-made. All right, let's go ahead. Let's keep going. Shopify being mentioned in the chat. I'll take a look at that. I can build you a 12-core AM gamer. Yeah, I built mine, so I understand that too, Roy. That's what I would do. I've been looking at those 12-core AMD ones, but hey, we'll see what happens, man. All right, I got so far on radar, getting close to selling, put spreads on it for a way out, but want to see it settle in. Hey, can't blame you on that one. All right, look at Palantir. We already took a look at that. Shopify, we could take a look here. Let's go to Shop. Shopify definitely taking a hit, and these software names have been really getting destroyed. I think these software names are just completely out of favor. Why? Because they're usually high PE names. And with the high PE right now, that means it's into what? That means it's into the growth names, and it's just not hanging out there. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it on up. It's 11:30. I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed today's live trading. Do me the favor, guys. What do you want to see more of? Do you want us to see kind of bring in more traders on like I brought Gianni today? Do you want us to do more pattern breakdowns? Do you want us to do more education between live trading? Let us know, guys, but definitely smash the thumb button and I'll go ahead and get on out of here, guys. I appreciate you guys like always, guys, and definitely do me the favor, hit that subscribe, hit the bell, and we'll see you next time on live trading. Like always, guys, keep battling out there, and we'll see you guys on Benzinga Live, which is coming on next, guys. Until then, keep battling out there.